Yeah, that last
There we
female
go.
CEO that died, she was bad, but then they got this guy named Neil, whatever, who's actually, I think he's Indian, and he's just all about the streaming business and the mobile use, and we're seeing the
Are you
effects of
talking about
that with the
that
shorts.
Susan Wojcicki? That lady?
Yeah, she was bad, but then they replaced her with the Neil guy.
All right,
I
ladies
think
and
she just
gentlemen, hail
fucking
Tiamat,
croaked.
hail the chaos. We in here. We're just waiting on
I'm going on
Hypnosis to
food.
join. But while we waiting for him, I just want to make sure it actually pops up on YouTube and all that good shit, because I ain't never used this shit before. So let's go check.
Oh, and I've started my live.
To stream it to the other spot. Yeah, I see yours right there. All right.
So, yeah, I got mine going.
Well, shit. If it doesn't stream live to mine, hop on Aaron Mays over there, Area Trades.
Yeah, I just seen his notification come up, so his is live.
All right, cool.
Oh yeah,
I don't know how to get to his channel. I don't know.
It's kind of like mirroring it in a way.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm gonna start this with a good old hail Tiamat, hail the chaos beings, bring destruction to all things in fucking creation. So we can get all
the anti-cosmic
softies out of here.
powers.
Yes.
All right, now we can go wherever y'all want to go with this. And when Adam gets here, we can see what he wants to talk about and whatnot. But I'm going to start this off by saying something real simple, real to the point, just to get it across, and then we can go from anywhere. In this so-called truther or conscious community, whatever that entails to the individual listening, everybody likes to argue about what is, what isn't, what solutions are, what solutions aren't. And I'm going to bring it back to this because I was in Chris Sideris's video the other day, screaming from the pits of hell. And I just watch people as they argue with him as he talks about doing something in the physical, because Chris is a very physical being. Like, he's not astral projecting, he's not astral traveling, he's not lucid dreaming. He is here, right now as a human having this experience. So he would like for this experience to go in some form or fashion that he would appreciate. Understandable? Yes? No? Yes?
Yes.
Makes sense.
You know, so here's what I say. Whatever you see as the problem, whether it's something right here on Earth, or whether it's the entire reality or all existence or just this realm or the matrix or whatever any individual sees as the problem, or any problem, because you might see a bunch of problems. Whatever you see as the solution to any of those problems, it is on you to carry out. It is not on you to argue with other people's perspectives on what problems are or what the solutions to those problems are. For example, you know, let's bring in something basic here on Earth. Some people love money. They fucking love it. They think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Let them love it. There's no point in arguing with them about it. If you don't love money and you don't love the monetary system and you would like to see it cease to exist, then you know what you need to do. If you want to use money to get a temporary thing, or, you know, I've done it. I use it to buy some things and then get out. Like, I know Aaron A's doing something similar right now. Then do that, because that is a solution to you. You need something and you think that that's the only way you can get it, by all means, do your thing. If you think you can get it otherwise, get it otherwise. But don't go yell at somebody else because they want to invest in things, like, because guess what? They're going to do it anyway. So there's no point arguing with people who disagree with you. Find those who agree with you, link with them, whether it be physically or through the internet or astrally or whatever way you're going to do that. Speak on your solutions and carry those out. So I say this because when I see Chris's video and he's talking about physical warfare right here on this planet against these elites, and then I say, no, bro, your only true power is to kill yourself, get out of here, go over there and do it over there. Now, I have no problem with that belief. I'm not saying I have no issue with that belief at all. None whatsoever.
I think I know where this is going.
You know where this is going. If you believe that the only thing you can do is kill yourself here to go somewhere else and do something somewhere else, fucking do it. Don't cry to Chris. Here? Exactly. Don't cry to Chris because he is having a physical experience and wants to have a different physical experience than one we're having right now. If that's where he is and that's what he believes, support him to enact that solution that he was calling out in that video. Chris says we should have warfare against the elites. Support him on that. While you go fight the other side. Because let's be real. If you really believe that the only thing you can do is go somewhere else to fight them over there because you think that they're in complete control of where we are here, then while Chris is fighting here, you should be fighting there. And guess what? At some point, Chris is going to die too. And guess where Chris will be? Over there with your ass. But guess what Chris did here while you were over there? He weakened the food sources, the power sources, the energy sources, the leash sources, whatever you want to call it, that are here. He lowered the worshipers here so you could have an easier fight over there. Like this, all this shit is interconnected. All levels of reality, including the false levels of reality, are interconnected, especially for those who believe we're being fed upon here. So if you believe you're being fed upon here by creatures over there, and you want to go over there and fight those creatures, you should support Chris saying he wants to fight them here. You get it? Now, if you don't want to do that, if you are physically injured or that's just not the fight for you, by all means, no one is telling you to fight that fight. But don't tell Chris not to fight his fight while you're still here, not even fighting your fight.
Right.
Let's not play these games.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you want to off yourself and go over there and drill, I fully support you. Hail Ronan. Hail the God.
Hail
You have
Ronan.
100% support. I will do rituals in your name. But do not sit here and talk shit to anyone here who's like, yeah, I'm trying to go kill somebody here too.
That's what I want. I want to kill motherfuckers.
You know, and that's what I needed to personally say, because this community is fucking annoying as fuck when they do that shit. Like stop, stop acting like you got all the answers. You know everything. You know the only thing that there is to know. You don't. You really fucking don't. None of us fucking do. So,
yeah, they have a problem with things being multifaceted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are a lot of different ways to approach a problem, not just one.
Facts. Go ahead on that. Go in on that, please.
No, I was just adding on to what you said, because like one guy, you have to excuse me, I have kind of a fucking cough or a sore throat. But anyway, one guy was talking to me about why I'm so anti-religion and anti-Christian and everything like that. And he thought I was just, been a bully to the Christians or whatever. I'm just like, you really have to look at this from a spiritual perspective of what these people are. You're looking at a food source. Every time you go past a church, every time you go past a synagogue or a mosque, and you see these people congregating, these are all batteries. Like, so you're looking at that building, it's a physical representation, but the spiritual output from that building and from the people inside of it is feeding the enemy. So it's not just attacking them for the sake of attacking them. If you don't attack the food source and the enemy continues to eat the food source and grows from that, you have a strong enemy. So it makes sense to go after and try to diminish that food source. So you can do that multiple ways. I mean, if you don't want to go out and actively knock them out the park, then you could also tell them the truth about their religion and what's really going on, because it happens both ways. Like no one had to come and shoot me in the head to get me out the fucking church. I mean, I had a Gnostic moment, and I realized what was happening in those places, and I left. So all that really has to happen is a light bulb moment, the truth to get to these people, and the ones who will understand it will leave naturally. So it's not just bullying for the sake of bullying. It's trying to diminish a food source. And all these places, all these fucking temples, churches, mosques that are built in honor of the fucking good creator, quote unquote, is all just food sources.
Yeah, they're the real dark Luciferians. They need to be shown the true light in the essence of the fire it exists as. It needs to be lit as the fuse. Like I said, the love to light the fuse needs to be thrown at the fucking temples, in the people that will pray in place of those temples. Those people, they're going to keep praying. They need to be shot. And yeah, it may be fucking harsh.
Amen,
but
brother.
I learned at a
Amen.
young
Oh,
age
true.
that I was worshiping a demiurge. I wasn't fucking stupid if you're above a certain age. And I get the use of archetypes, but there are people that will get pissed off at me because I work with the Christ energy. As soon as I say that I'm against Jehovah and worshiping a man figure, they get deranged anger at me. I personally think those people are the epitome of true cult members, and I know I name myself a cult leader because I make fun of this shit. But these are the cults that need to be destroyed. They need to be killed, physically dealt with, because they will get on their knees and become that battery.
Right. Very true. And some of them are just so far gone that anything you say to them is not going to get through anyway. It's like you can show them. I've done this. You can show them in their holy books where their God commands slaughter of innocents and just destruction of people's lives for his pleasure and for his glory, quote unquote. You can show them all these places in the Bible where God is doing this heinous shit and commanding heinous shit, and they'll still say, oh, but you know, it's the context. So anything you say to them is not going to get through.
Right. It was like damn, this person is a Satanist.
Yeah, I mean, I just
Facts.
showed you in fucking black and white where it says your God answered a curse from his prophet to kill 42 children because they called him fucking bald. And that's the good supreme God of the universe? Fuck off.
Mauled him. Straight mauled him.
Yeah. It's like, come on now, what sense does that make? Oh, but God is good. You just don't have the context. Okay, you need to die.
Correct. Like they would pick up the blade and do it if they heard a voice that they thought was their god, the fucking
Exactly.
archons.
Exactly.
And they absolutely would. Grandmothers would kill their grandchildren if they thought their God was telling them to do so.
Yeah. I mean, look at
Like-
the example. They've got fucking Abraham they all look up to. All the Muslims, Jews, Christians, they all look up to Abraham. And he was a fucking psychopath. He was going to slit his son's throat because God said so.
Their entire faith is named after the man, the Abrahamic faith.
Exactly.
After the dude who was about to fucking stab the shit out of his child, and then the angel shows up like, well, hey, we just
It
playing.
was a prank.
Don't do that.
It's just a
we just wanted to see if you was loyal, my nigga. We just like on some mafia shit. Like, will you sacrifice your own son? He was snitching, bro. Like, like, oh, we just joking. He wasn't snitching. He cool. Like, what, bro? Like, what kind of God? Like, but that's who they want you to worship. Now, mind you, they're the same people who will tell you, because whether you believe it or not, you know, again, people want to argue what problems they see, what solutions are for the problems they see. Whether they believe it or not, if you are personally involved in that belief system, you believe that that being created this reality. So when they tell you that this being created this, and this being is the same being telling Abraham, the one they named their religion after, to destroy everything, starting with his son, and then rename it all in their Jewish names and all their, you know, kill all the goyim and all this other good stuff. You have to realize that that is not some beautiful, wonderful, loving entity, which means this place isn't some beautiful, loving, wonderful place.
Exactly.
It's
Fucking
very basic steps of logic. Like, it's not
1
that hard
+ 1
to
is
figure
2.
out. Always, every time. Look at your fingers. Put up one, put up another one. Damn, it's 2. You ain't never gonna get 3. It's just not gonna happen. Like, but they want to act like 1 + 1 is 72. Like it means something completely different. No. My God is loving, even though he created this shit. You ever seen nature? I just watched my brother's cat yesterday murder the fuck out of a hawk. And he didn't even kill it. He just broke its spine and then played with it a little bit and got bored and walked away. And I'm sitting there like, that's nature. That is what your God made. Like that. Like, and so
Yeah,
whether you want to call
that
it
to
God,
these people.
Yaldabaoth, Yahweh, the creator, the architect, the dude with the behind the simulation, what are the insectoids, the mantoids, the grays, the reptilian, whoever the fuck you think it is. You know, that's what made this thing, and that's how they made this thing. So we need to stop playing the games and acting like this is some wonderful place that we should just be trying to live in forever and just Like, nah. For me, destroy it all. But
Right. I agree.
for those of you who believe it can be better, I'm willing to burn all this shit that's here down alongside you, so you could try to make your better world. Like, and when you fail, because you probably will, you almost certainly will, I can pretty much guarantee it, we can then, finish the job for whoever's here, because we'd probably all be dead by that point. But
exactly,
at least the point would get across, and you would destroy the power source for that thing in the process.
Right. If it's the overlays that need to be destroyed, the only way we're going to do that is by starting a fucking war with this realm and those damn overlays.
Now, can you go more into that? What do you when you talk about overlays, what exactly do you mean?
So I'm thinking that a lot of these texts are really encoded messages, and they talk about a physical overlay on a realm that was perhaps, I wouldn't say perfect, and that itself may be a problem later down the line, but at least we can get closer to a better realm if we start destroying the archontic overlays. Like, there you have the moon chains that are being connected to the blockchain these days. That's why AI's got to go. We got to burn that shit now. Like, when I get my gear together, I'm not gonna be a pussy. I'm ready to go out here with Shangel and start burning shit, servers to the ground, going against these law enforcement agencies and these pig human traffickers. That they're the reason that these gates are enforced, but that connects to Saturn through moon chains, and that thing in Saturn, that's literally the essence of Yaldabaoth. The biblical god is there, and it's trying to bide its time, build its singularity. From what I'm seeing, that's what needs to be destroyed. If we can destroy their matrix singularity before it gets off the ground, or at least halt the primary progress of it by destroying their server farms as much as we can, and destroying their infrastructure connections. I don't care how bad it gets in the physical world after that. It doesn't have as much time as we might think.
Now, let me interject right here, because I can already hear people going, I don't believe in that. You don't have to. Like, what the fuck do you believe in? That's what Aaron A believes in. So, based on what Aaron A believes, that's Aaron A's solution. And even though I fully don't 100% with, because trust me, I've been all through Aaron A's Discord over the last few days, fully 100% aligned with everything Aaron A believes. His solutions, I'm like, yeah, I'll fuck with all of those though. So, so whether he's right about everything he believes or wrong about everything he believes, whether I'm right or wrong about everything I believe, his solutions are still on point to everything he believes. So if you hear what he's saying, or if you go on his channel and listen to him and you go, I think he's right, follow through. Like, go through with those solutions. If you don't, well, what do you think the problem is? What solution do you have to offer? Promote that, go through with it. Don't come here and argue with him about it. Like, because I could already see somebody in the chat or in the comments or somewhere. I can't even see the chat. I don't even know where it would be on the StreamYard, but I can already see somebody being like, no, that's not what we should be doing this. And they're like, okay, then go do that. Whatever you're about to say, no, we should be doing, go do that. Like, stop telling him what he needs to do. You know, what?
Do it.
If you have the means, do it as soon as you have the means. If you need numbers, start recruiting. If you could do it by yourself, get to fucking work. What you waiting for? Like, these people always want to find reasons to argue, and I can literally hear them in my head as he's speaking. They just want to argue things. They don't actually give a fuck about their own solutions. If they did, they'd be doing it.
Right.
So for those who have certain solutions to certain problems that may not be whatever you hear here, carry those out. I'm going to keep saying that throughout this stream, because that's really my whole message is find problems, find solutions to those problems, enact those solutions. Everything else is details. We could talk all day what we all think the individual exact thing that's happening is from here to the fucking greater void. And that's great. That's wonderful conversation, because some people might need that information to be steered in a direction, to be like, oh, okay, I didn't realize that over there. Let me go check into this information. But when it comes down to it in the end, once you are fucking convinced of a problem, find the solution to that problem and then carry it out. And anyone who is in agreement with you, bring them on in and carry it out together if you can, whether it's physically, digitally, astrally, or through death, or whatever the hell it is you're going to do. But don't sit here and argue with Aaron A. when he sits here and talks about Saturn matrices and things along these lines. That's what he thinks is happening. So that's what he's going to address. And you should be like, thank you. Because if you're correct, and I don't believe that shit, at least someone's doing something about it.
Right?
This is how we need to be thinking here. Like a discombobulated anarchist fucking military where there is no command structure.
Blow it up.
Exactly. Like it's so fucking simple. And most things, even if you believe, like I always like going, because I always like taking from the physical to the so-called non-physical and the astral and beyond and the base reality, and everything is levels and layers, period. If you believe you are in any type of matrix, whether it's a soul trap, a VR headset, a fucking matrix pod somewhere, or nanotech in a body you already have and this isn't your real body, or whether you think that you're a digital NPC in this reality who has woken up to it, the solutions pretty much remain the same, and it's twofold. One, actually three. One, you think you can't do anything at all, then sit down, shut the fuck up, go sit in the corner. Two, you think you could do something here, whether it's for the better, to make the world better, or to simply burn the shit down. Let's go. Promote that, let's do that. Or three, you don't think you could do anything here, you only think you could do it somewhere else, then get somewhere else and get to work. Like, it comes down to those three things, no matter what your theory is, no matter what you believe is going on. Now, the question is, what do you need to accomplish that? How many people do you need to accomplish that? Start recruiting. It's that simple. So don't come in here arguing with Aaron A. or Mark or me, or go anywhere else, or go to Chris's page and argue with him, or go to Ignorance is Bliss's page and argue with him. Don't go argue with these people. Everyone has their own thought process on what is actually fucking going on, and they have their own solutions to that. Support them, period. Period. All right, y'all can go again. Talk about whatever you want. Oh, I think we got hypnosis in here. Let me add them.
Hypnosis? Oh, yeah. How's it
What's going on, hypnosis? What's going on, brother? Can you hear us?
Oh, I hear you guys. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, we can hear you, brother.
Nice.
How's your day going, brother? What you up to?
Good. I just finished eating. Fucking, of course, me and you would have some technical difficulties because that's par for the course.
Of course. Of course. That's how the chaos works. Anything that you have you been listening? Have you been able to hear us, or?
Yeah, no, I was listening for like the last 10 minutes or so.
All right. Anything you want to chime in since you just got here? We'll give the floor to you real quick.
Nah, you guys can keep on going. I'll drop in here and there. I'm fucking willing to just fill out the conversation.
All right. Marcus, I know you have some questions for Aaron A.
No, I was just going to say that I think the points that he brought out, it's kind of weird that people are quick to rush and say, no, that's not what's happening, or, oh, no, that can't be true, when it's right in your fucking face. Like, it seems like they have an aversion to just tangible reality. Like they want to make up things and say, oh, that's not what's happening, when it's right there. Like, we can clearly see these technocrats talking about this whole 2030, how they have an agenda for that, which is to bring out their AI program to the fullest extent. Like, they're openly talking about AI control over the whole fucking planet by 2030, or probably earlier, depending on how far they get. But yeah, and it's just true. All of this shit is Saturnian. Like, the judges, the political system, the police, the economics, it's all about control. And Saturn, Chronos, time, whatever, it's all about control. It's all about tyranny. So it's both of these things are right there. It's not like it's hidden in some kind of obscure sense. Like, it's all there. You just have to look at it and fucking acknowledge it, and then go from there and say, what can we do about it?
No, absolutely. And I would, people try and separate a lot of
this that are typical. This was on someone's video the other day. Oh, darn, I don't think it's showing the desktop, is it? In any case, there are these things called bacteriophages, and they're practically nanobots. But if you show this stuff to a typical doctor, they'll try to skirt around the issue. And that's with a lot of these doctoral things, and primarily beyond doctors in the so-called education community.
Oh, look at that. I just found the chat.
Matrix that they work upon.
I see you, Jay. Shout out to Jay, Juggalord,
I mean,
Josh.
like
I see you in here. If y'all want to see the comments, I don't know what it looks like to y'all, but to me, it's on the left-hand side of the StreamYard page. I don't know how you guys see it, if you're on the same page.
I don't see.
Oh, yeah. I see him.
So just in case anybody says anything I want to respond to or anything along those lines.
Comments instead of private chat.
Yes. So I figured I'd let y'all know that just so y'all can see who's in there and see what they're saying.
I think those people are actually controlled by, I think they're actually elements of Jehovah.
Yeah, they all have the similar mind virus.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you want to go in further on that? I wanted to bring Aaron A and Adam in here because I know Aaron A has a lot to say. I know Adam's not really online like that as far as talking and whatnot. So Adam is hypnosis, by the way. I'm always going to call him Adam by accident. But because me and Marcus, we could do this every day. Like we do this every day together. So I wanted to give, Aaron A a real chance to like air out his thought processes because he's got a big brain.
Yeah, seriously. The guy has a fucking treasure trove of knowledge.
A lot of shit to think. And so go ahead.
I wrote this down on my video notes. Religion is about building the beast system and then telling your friends you've been praising God for virtue points. That's what it's really been this way all along. Like I remember, I actually wrote a whole comment reply to one of you. I think it was Mark. I forget if it was you or Mark Shingo. I screenshotted this on my phone. I'll pull it up here. It was about the way that these Christians acted when I was growing up. They'll call themselves Christians. I don't consider myself Christian, but I would probably be an actual original person of Christ, not Jesus, but actual Christ energy. Because I took it as a challenge when I read the book. I was like, here's what I responded. It's crazy stuff for sure. I went to church as a kid and was so immersed in the teachings of this Jesus character who said we will do even greater actions than him through the power of truth within us all. It's very cryptic, but that's what it gets at, essentially, the light that is the true soul potential. And somehow I was getting a completely different message than those surrounding me. I realized they were never of that Christ archetype. These motherfuckers were scapegoating like a congregation of satanic leeches. Now when I bring up, hey, I'm going to take inspiration from Jesus' story in war with the false god, I, of course, get called evil because they worship the damn thing. That was basically
precisely.
Yeah, they worship Jehovah. And it's ironic because Jesus in the fucking book said that he came to fulfill the law. Not to enforce it, but to fulfill it. He knew they would hang his ass because he was a heretic. He was cursing Jehovah. And he was cursing this thing's empire, the Holy Roman Empire. He told them what they are, that they're weak. And turning the other cheek wasn't him being a nice motherfucker either. People misread this shit out of context.
It was disrespect.
Making them, right, because you know what that comes from, don't you? The actual meaning of that?
Go ahead.
It's ridiculous.
Tell us, brother.
People think that it's to be polite, but in the past, you wipe your ass with one of your hands and not the other. So when you got slapped on the cheek, the people slapping you would use the hand they wiped their ass with. He turned his cheek in a way that they had to slap him with the clean hand. They'd have to show respect to him. He was a smart motherfucker.
But you know the
he
funniest.
was the smart MLK.
Yeah, that was on point. But you know, that's the funny thing about it was like when you were talking about how the Christians, they just say shit but they don't really know.
Exactly.
Everything about the Old Testament, because like they made a mistake. And see, this is where Marcion was brilliant. If they just would have stuck with what Marcion proposed, Christianity would probably be better off than what it is now. Because now it's like a fucking contaminated swamp. But Jesus opposed all the religious leaders of the Jews and basically called them the sons of the fucking Satan.
Facts.
So everything that they taught was from fucking Satan. And
Facts.
then he goes on telling them that they're vipers, a brood of fucking vipers, sons of the devil. He
Facts.
blatantly insulted their religion time after time. And on top of that, Judaism in turn says the same thing about him. Because guess
Facts.
what? In the Old Testament, what does Jehovah say? There is no savior beside me. I alone am God. So that just deletes the whole thing of, oh, Jesus is the savior, the son of God, Jehovah. No, he's not.
That's a whole different Gnostic entity.
Correct. Absolutely. That's what they don't get.
Yeah.
Like this guy came from the auto genes. If we're going to believe anything Gnosticism says, I don't know. I don't know if he existed, but I really like the archetype. He supposedly came from the true oneness, the pleroma, in ward with the Fa system. That's why I like the guy.
Facts. That's honestly, people always want to pretend like he's Yahweh's child, and I'm like, that dude was he was the most anti-Yahweh being in all written history. Like even his peacefulness, even his because there's many times where I could be like, that nigga was soft. But at the same time, if I take it from the Gnostic perspective, even his peacefulness was a disrespect to the war god Yahweh, where he said, I won't even spill blood against you because I know you'd probably like that. Like, it's like, you probably like me to slay one of your Jews.
I didn't even think of it that way.
Yeah, that's
you know what I'm saying? So he's like,
I never thought of his sacrifice that way.
This is why he carried his own cross and didn't let them just carry it for him, because he said, no. This sacrifice is to me and my Father. So y'all can see this and realize what y'all need to do. This is not for Yahweh. I'm not going to let the Jews put me on it. I'm not going to let the Romans, but I'm going to carry this shit myself. I got that. They put the crown of thorns on him, and he was like, thank you. It's like, you got another one, bro? You giving me a crown? A crown of thorns? Oh, y'all don't know what y'all doing. Like, y'all got me bleeding from my forehead? Thank you. Thank you so much. This ritual is so goddamn easy. It hurts, but they're making it easy for me.
Yeah, but eventually he does crack. He's up there, and they fucking, he's screaming, why have you forsaken me? So that's pretty
yes. But I mean, he went pretty far before he did.
No, exactly. That's the point. They broke him. And if you take it in the literal sense of, oh, well, that's God, it's like, all right, well, you broke God, which is fucking speaks for
and
something.
That's another thing to tell the Christians.
It all depends on the interpretation on which flavor of Jesus you fucking subscribe to,
That's true.
Exactly. I mean, exactly. Which flavor?
Even in the Gnostic, some of the Gnostic writings, because a lot of them were Docetists. Like, they didn't even believe that Jesus was completely physical. They thought he was like physical sometimes, and then other times he just looked physical, like he was like a kind of a spiritual ghost or something. But in one of the writings, I forget which one it was, Jesus essentially mocks them after the crucifixion. It's like, look at that. They think that thing over there is me. And he's just fucking laughing at the archons because they crucified the dummy. Like they thought they took that for him and didn't realize that was just some shell that he left behind while they got off trying to kill it.
Facts. See, and that's the other thing. Like earlier, you said they don't like what do you call it? They don't like complexities. They don't like looking at things from 13 different angles or studying it from the perspective of 13 different writings about the same exact character. Even though the book itself, the Bible itself, has the apostles in there, right? Yeah, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Like, even amongst themselves, they're writing different things based on their own perspectives of it. So when you go look at the Gospel of Thomas and all these other Gospels, and you look at it from those other perspectives and you put it all together as one story instead of just what they're presenting you, like all of a sudden you go, okay, I can view this figure, this archetype, this thing, this entity from all these different viewpoints and use these and these for me, and I can push those aside because they don't really work for me and my agenda. People don't get it. They look at these things and they go, this is literal physical history, and the way that I read it is the only way that it exists and the only thing that it is, and you have to take it that way, and that's where they fuck up. That's where religion is born.
Exactly.
Right, and especially when you just say like a blanket term for Christianity, and people just say, "Oh, well, I've read the Bible." It's like, okay, well, what version of the Bible do you subscribe to? And usually they just refer to the King James version.
Right.
And it's like you're gonna take an ancient text that's been dissected and redialected into multiple languages over fucking thousands of years, if that's how you want to believe it, and think that that's going to be the one honest, the true version of it. And then when you bring up things like the Gnostic text and other things that were removed from the canon of the Bible, it's like, well, these are all still stories that are very important. They're just not considered, part of that main timeline. Like if you look at it in like a fucking comic book sense, it's like, all right, well, yeah, that's kind of like multiversal shit. It's still using the same characters, but not following the same timeline. But it's like, all right, well, what can you take from those stories? What are the actual, like, why do you think these plot points were either removed? Why do you think they weren't necessary? And like, why did the people at the time think they were necessary? Because at the end of the day, none of the shit matters what any of us believe. At some point in time, this was all written down by other people because they felt strongly enough about it. They had enough conviction and belief to think that this stuff was either really fucking true or at least strong enough to control people. If it was always just systems of control and not really systems of belief, well, that speaks something of itself too, because it's like, it's there, it's survived multiple iterations, and just what you were saying earlier, it's the Abrahamic faiths in general. It's not just bullying Christianity, it's just a lot of people, that's kind of the more easier digestible version, because Jews kind of keep to Jews, and if you're going to be a Muslim, you kind of got to go balls to the wall. So like I think Marcus was saying, you got like Christians, they don't even read their own book. They go to Sunday Mass, a priest will arbitrarily pick and read a little sermon that they think is relatable to the people at the time and whatever. But it's not like they're reading the Bible front to back over the course of the year or however long it takes, Whereas most Muslims, if they're actual like diehard true Muslims, they know the entire Quran front to back. They can tell you, any passage. They to their credit, they at least put that shit to memory. Exactly. And yes. I'm pretty sure Jews, for their bar mitzvah or whatever, at like 16, when they become a man or whatever the fuck, they have to recite a good amount of that shit in their native tongue. I forget what language they speak or whatever when they do it. But, so much more than Christians who just kind of get away with, going to Sunday school, dipping their finger in some, quote, holy water and being like, oh, yeah, no, I'm going to go to heaven. I'm good. I'm a Christian. I'm a holy warrior of Jesus Christ. He's my Lord and Savior. And something I talk about all the time, because I ask Christians, I'm like, so when you say you are saved, the salvation of Jesus Christ, the blood of Jesus Christ saves you, he is your Lord and Savior. Like, what does that mean? What does it actually mean when you say, I am saved by the blood of Christ? Like, what does that even mean? And you ask them these things and they don't have an answer, because anytime they have to have like a complex thought about anything that's remotely ritualistic, it goes completely over their head, because they're like, oh no, that's bad, that's evil, that's magic, that's like devil shit. It's like, well, you're participating in this every Sunday when you're eating the body of your fallen God. It might just be a little cracker, but you're all, actively role-playing and being like, oh yeah, no, this is Jesus, this is his body, we're eating it. Some of us are drinking his blood. We know it's just wine or whatever, it might just be grape juice, but you guys are LARPing. You're putting on a mass ritual, literally in mass. You're doing it on a select day.
Literally
and
in mass.
If you just remove the Jesus Christ cross, which is kind of weird in itself, like you have your falling, dying God looking down upon you the whole time. But like, if you just remove that statue and just put up like, a stereotypical evil goat man, Satan, Baphomet thing, that whole ritual becomes something completely different in their eyes. But like, you're doing the exact same evil stuff. You're drinking blood, you're fucking eating flesh. But it's Jesus, it's God, it's holy, it's light magic. It's just, they don't have any idea what the hell's really going on. They just do these things blindly because in their eyes, well, this is for God, this is Jesus, I'm going to go to heaven if I do this. I'm going to get eternal life. It's just, it's wild.
Hell set. We got our boy Set in the chat.
Oh, hail to God. Hail to God. Hail the dark one, the chaos one.
Jugulon put. Yes.
But that was great hypnosis
last night.
Yes. Shout out to you, Jugulon. Shout out to Josh, People Mythos. Shout out to Triple Indy. Hey, baby. I was a real Christian, says John. I feel you. I was a real Christian.
But that's the funny part about that is like what hypnosis
I do that
said.
with my blood.
Because you did that with your blood?
The red coloring.
Oh yeah, the red color. Okay.
Yeah, the red is my blood.
Right. Yeah, I read that. I don't know why I fucking forgot that. Fucking scatterbrain.
Yeah, you loved that yesterday. But these things happen. We got a lot of things going on.
Right. But yeah, it's like what hypnosis said. I actually had a conversation not too long ago about that very same thing you just brought up, where you talked about the communion and everything. And they're saying, oh, well, that's good and holy because, we're just remembering Jesus. But I was like, if you look at it, you just sat there and told me you do ritualistic cannibalism. Like, that's all you said.
Exactly, dude.
Like, you just told me you drink the blood of some guy and you eat his flesh, and you're going to tell me that's not ritualistic cannibalism? Okay.
Once a week.
Right.
Like, once a week. That's literally ritual. Like,
real disconnect there. I don't get how they don't see, oh, I pray to my God, so you do chants and rituals. Oh, I go to the temple and the altar of Christ, so you get around with your coven and do your
and your cult.
You sing songs in unison. You pray together. You stand up. You kneel. You sit down. And most of my background comes from the Roman Catholic Church, from what all my family did. And I'm a quote unquote, I'm a baptized Christian myself. So no matter what I say, I can just eventually pray and be like, oh God, I'm sorry. And I'm good. That's my get out part. God forbid if we're all wrong and I just kind of, kiss ass at the very end or whatever. Who fucking knows?
Hey, remember that time I went under the water for you, bro? Come on, bro. Come on, let me in. Open up them gates, big dog. I've been under the water. I read the book.
Archons would be like, this one was a good slave. Let's give him a little bit of a good life, but he'll do what we want.
But it's kind of it's funny when you think about it, because another point that people don't get is when they read Revelation, right? They read that book and they look at the symbolism in there, and it talks about this heavenly city that they all aspire to. Has anybody paid attention?
Zion.
Yeah, has anybody paid attention to the dimensions of that so-called heavenly city? It's a fucking gold cube. Yeah, it's a fucking gold cube prison.
A computer.
Right, exactly. So here's the funny part. What gets me? They're gonna go up there and they're gonna think that this fucking psychotic God is gonna just be beautiful and wonderful with them. He's gonna be lovey. Oh, we finally have peace. It's going to be quite the fucking surprise when they get up there and they find out that thing is fucking insane. I've had dreams about this shit. I really have. I've had dreams about, I think I told you, Shango, about the dream that I recently had about this shit. When they get up there and they fucking figure out this thing lights to torture for fucking fun, that's going to be a big surprise. And you're going to be stuck in that shit forever.
But it's right in their book. It tells them this.
Right in their book.
It tells them that even in Revelation, when it talks about bringing Zion to earth, it speaks of, well, what is heaven going to be for you? Well, I'm going to resurrect all you from the dead, because you're not going to heaven. Like when you die, you're just dead until I resurrect you. Matter of fact, you might even be in hell, and I might give you a second chance when I get down here to worship me. But once I get there, your job for the rest of eternity is to fly around my throne in circles alongside the thrones who already do this, and sing my praises for eternity. Wait, what?
I just look at that as like you're just a battery powering God at that point. You're just
exactly.
You're just humming away, making noises, just singing their praises, just positivity for God and His glory because He
It's
loves
his
them.
heaven.
Like,
Yeah.
just let me burn in the real hell. I might find a way to use that pain to escape.
Facts. I'd rather burn in hell and use the pain to try to figure some shit out than go to his heaven where we sing to him forever. Like, but they don't read their book. Like, and if you really, really read Revelations, it reads like two AIs fighting each other. It reads like one group of people, the beast people, us, tearing down this world. And then this dude shows up to reestablish order. But everything he does is very AI-like. Like when they talk about, oh, the mark of the beast, I'm like, did you know there's a mark of Yahweh too? Did you know that the beast and Yahweh do literally the same things, just at different levels? Yahweh's more powerful, so his shit just wins. But every step of the way, when they talk about everything the beast does, this is why there's a Christ and an Antichrist. This is like everything that the beast does, Yahweh does too. He just does it to a higher
That's
degree.
why the Antichrist is supposed to be so deceptive, because it's supposed to be under the illusion of something Christ-like. You know, that's the kind of the whole shtick.
Right.
And even all that does is usher in Yahweh. Like, it's, like
Right.
So even that is part of his plan to usher himself in. Like when they read these things, then they understand, okay, so this is my God. He's perfect in all ways. This is the plan he's already told us is going to happen. So all the fuckery of Revelations, all the terrible shit that happens, that's his plan too. Like that's not even the beast itself destroying the world is still his plan, so he can come show up like a false flag. Like, hey, if you come to me, I'll protect you from the beast that I sent on you. Like, because I'm the one who turned him into a beast by putting him here to begin with.
It's really just,
They gotta use that.
we've had this conversation before where it's like self-fulfilling prophecy, where you look at like the older religions and they eventually branch off and make these younger religions. So if you look at like Judaism being the older of the three, they're kind of like planting seeds to make their religion seem more. It's almost like, if you guys ever read Dune, if you're familiar with the series Dune at all, that group, the Bene Gesserit, that like the witch women who like kind of control everything. They have like a universal eugenics program that they're basically doing. They kind of like plant the seeds of religion all over different planets, so that regardless of where they ended up at the point of giving birth to their savior, every planet kind of already had an idea of that happening, because that was like their planet's base religion that was planted there, you know?
Oh.
So like, if you look at it, you know, I don't want to just keep saying the Jews, but for lack of better terms,
fuck the Jews. Say the Jews.
The Jews plant the seeds of these other religions like Christianity and everything. So then when Jesus comes, they can kind of validate into their books like, oh, so yeah, this was kind of, you know.
Yep.
Again, self-fulfilling prophecy. Then the Christians need Judaism to make their religion work, and vice versa. It's just all one hand washes the other.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically too late, but we might as well start anyways.
Right. Islam being a little different, because even though it still branches, it's still like an Abrahamic faith that kind of like evolved out of like Zoroastrianism. So there's still, you know, there's the mystic side of Islam is a little different.
Yes, the mystic side. I was going to say that's the mystics, the Sufis and whatnot.
It goes back to astrotheology as well, for sure.
Have any of you heard of Satan's Little Season conspiracy theory? I have not.
Satan's Little Season?
I've heard that where supposedly in it, but I think this whole
okay, yeah, I know. I know what you're talking about. I mean, that's how I would look at it. This whole realm is Satan's little season, which is Satan as in Yahweh, Demiurge, Yaldabaoth, etc. So the little season, as I know it, is the same thing as like when, you know, Satan's locked up for a certain period of time and then he's allowed to roam the earth to just sow chaos and destruction amongst the masses before God shows up. It's no different than the U.S. military and government sending Al-Qaeda somewhere and giving them a little season to fuck things up so they can go, look what's happening over there. Looks like we got to go there. There's no other choice. So it's a false flag. Yes. Even if the opposition is real, if you're more powerful and you can steer them, you can then use them as the excuse to go do the thing that you already had planned. That's how I look at it.
And there's a lot of that, and also going back to the Jews, that's pretty much what they're doing with the Muslims. They're doing that with the Muslims and with the Christians. Like they openly, I've heard rabbis talk. I mean, you can look this shit up. I've heard rabbis talk about what they're doing to Europe, and they're saying, yeah, we're basically going to use the Muslims to destroy Europe. We're going to do that, and we're doing it right now.
Facts.
And then when they talk about the Christians, they laugh at it. It's like, these fucking morons are worshiping a Jew. Imagine that, all these billions of people bowing down to one Jew.
Facts. This is truth. And then the Christians think they're smart because they're using Muslims, but the Jews is using both of them. Like, exactly. And the Muslims is just a send off for everybody.
Right.
It's just made.
They just get sent off to do shit and then get murdered for it.
Right on.
It's what wars?
They're just not calling themselves mages and warlocks.
Yeah, basically.
Which I mean, they know they are. The Kabbalists know they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, they know what they're doing.
I've studied that system.
This is why I fuck with the cliff off, because I'm anti-Kabbalah. Because that's who's running this fucking planet.
A little of the Kabbalah, and I had some interesting effects. I don't like angels.
Me neither.
I'll stay away from working with them. But damn,
Me too.
They'll burn stuff. I did a ritual one day, and 2 days later, a whole ass college building 2 blocks away burned to the ground. All I did was put blood on a paper that I made a round sigil of, the Sandalphon, and I burned that thing with my blood on it. And 2 days later, that college building I got on my channel burning? That's what happened.
Wow. That's fucking intense.
Thanks, Sandalphon.
Like, if I want to actually burn something, I might just summon that one again.
Honestly, real talk. But then again, depending on what the agenda is, you might be the one who, all of a sudden you wake up and it's your apartment burning.
Yep.
Yeah, and the funny thing about these fucking angels is they're so deceptive as fuck. Like, very deceptive, and it's always the same thing. Like, if they come to you in dreams, like, especially when you're first getting out of Christianity or whatever religion that you were in, like Abrahamic, they always come to you with a threat. It's never, oh, we support your decision. No, it's always a fucking threat. Like, you get back in fucking line. I've had this happen. I had a dream where one of them came to me and said, if you leave the path, you're going to get fucking left behind, and you're going to go into the tribulation period and suffer. You don't want to suffer with the unbelievers, do you?
That's Lilith leading the garden. That's literally Lilith leaving the garden, and then the 3 angels, Samangaloth, Sensinoi, and they show up like, yeah, you got to go back, or we're going to kill all your children. What, nigga? Like, what? You going to do, I guess, you going to kill what? We're going to kill 100 of your kids a day. Then I guess I'll have 1,000 a day. See you later, niggas. I wasn't going to birth an army, but I guess I will now. Like, thanks for warning me. Like, but that's exactly the moment you like, I'm not doing that. They want to threaten you for it.
Right. I mean, it's even in that fucking book. Every time an angel shows up, it's there to do fucking carnage. It's there to massacre and to do some terrible shit. It's hardly ever anything good that comes out of these things.
And again, if you want to talk with Christians about angels, they don't even understand that there's a hierarchy of these things. Right. When they think of an angel, most of the time they either just picture of like a little Cupid looking thing, little baby with the little wings, little bare butt hanging out, or you have like a really hyper feminine looking man, with angelic wings, white wings and all that. They never look at, we have memes about it now, like biblically accurate angels where they're mad. It looks like
do not be afraid.
Lovecraft. Yeah, do not be afraid. Tentacles and eyeballs.
Burns the whole city to the ground.
You can't comprehend what it looks like. Your mind goes to shit, You cannot comprehend God's face. It's just shit like that. But like, you talk to them about like laws and principalities. They're like, well, what the hell are you talking about? It's like, well, that's literally, there's like a hierarchy of angels and angelic beings on like a ladder leading up to God. It's not just
the
like
archonic ladder.
Right, exactly. Right.
That's in
the hierarchy of archons.
Yeah. It's
They're
called like
water and fire.
the ninefold angelic hierarchy or something, and it breaks down like each tier. There's like 3 tiers, and each tier has 3 inside of it. So it's like 9 angelic tiers going up to God, from like the cherubim, seraphim, fucking laws, principalities, thrones. Ambiguous terms. If you're like, well, what's a throne? What's a principality? What are those things? Because they want to picture like a tangible flesh and blood thing to try and put it to. They can't comprehend that those are like a program. If you want to look at it like that,
like an algorithm,
exactly like a law and a principality. These are like programs into this simulation, matrix, datascape, whatever the fuck you want to call it, just light. If you want to go something as simple as like, gravity or the force of gravity, you throw something in the air, it comes back down to you. If you want to do something basic like that, or if you want to think on like a deeper level of like, like actual governance of countries' powers and the outreach of like how far an empire can actually extend within the law of that like hierarchy. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Right.
Yep. Matter of fact, let me break in right there and say, just real quick, I'll let you go right back into it. Again, because we got 15 people in here, whole lot. For anyone listening, it's not about what you believe. Don't be religious about this. It is about, again, that's why I put Josh up there on the screen again, peep the mythos. It's about understanding the mythos and what it's trying to tell you. If you believe you are in a created realm, Matrix, Soul Trap, fucking whatever the fuck you want to call it. I can name 1,000 things, even if you think it's a school, a wonderful school to learn. No matter what you think it is, when he talks about the hierarchy of angels or the hierarchy of archons, what he's telling you is the hierarchy of algorithms behind the reality that you exist within. These are all metaphorical and analogical and literal at the same time if you're speaking in an astral sense, because you can go see these algorithms if you want to.
Goes above to like an intangible sense down to a physical sense that you can comprehend here. So
exactly,
kind of like what you were talking about right when I got in. If you look at it in the sense of like, me and you have had these conversations many times, how you have people who want to talk about escaping Earth in this physical realm. They can't deal with fucking the bullshit of the laws and the governments and tyrannical police and all this shit here. But they're too afraid to actually confront and get into a physical altercation with police. But they think that they're ready to face anything else on like a higher dimensional tier.
Facts.
Be ready to confront any other type of adversaries on a deeper level. You can't even get the shit done over here. If this is a school, well, then you should utilize this fucking school. Get your college credits while you're in high school. So when you do go to college, you're already fucking ready. You already have a 1-up on what you're supposed to be doing.
It's no that simple. Train before you go to the army.
Exactly. And no matter what your path is, if it's going to be, different routes of divination, if you're going to be doing fucking, kundalini work or chakra work or whatever, or fucking clip off, it's all paths to kind of the same thing, just different ways of doing the same work, is at least how I've been interpreting it after seeing, doing my own practices and dabbling in a little bit of shit here and there. It all resonates the same way with me, no matter what I'm doing. And eventually, you just kind of form your own practice and see what works for you.
Facts. You form your own practice. And that's why I always tell people, if you're going to be religious, it better be your religion. It better not be one that was given to you. If you have a belief system, it better be yours based on your subjective experience, not on somebody else's subjective experience. And if you're going to say, well, I don't want to have a subjective religion at all, then everything you say to me better be objective. Because the moment you say something subjective, I'm like, stop talking. You just said you don't believe in anything subjective. Like you said all your facts are objective. Prove that one. You can't, can you? Like you can't even prove it to yourself, let alone me or anyone outside of you. So you have a subjective experience and your belief system is going to be subjective. There might be certain things that are objective, like again, 1 + 1 is 2. Put up 2 fingers, it's always going to be 2. It's all literally the peace sign we use is based on 2, like the 1 1. Like it's even when you hold up 2 fingers, you're holding up 2, because that's objective reality. If you're going to talk about anything astral, which I love to talk about, if you're going to talk about anything beyond this reality, if you're going to talk about base reality, if you're going to talk about anything other than your daily experience as a human being right here, right now, it is subjective, period. If you can't prove it definitively to anyone outside of you, definitively, then it's subjective. If you could prove it to yourself, but you can't prove it to others, it's subjective. If you can't even prove it to yourself, it's definitely subjective. So folks always want to argue their subjective realities, their subjective thought processes, their subjective experiences, whatever evidence and gnosis they gained against somebody else's, when it's like, instead, just have a conversation. Like, you don't need to argue about it. That's his subjective experience. This is yours. You can compare the two, and maybe one of you will be like, oh, I didn't think of it that way. Tell me more about that, and you might alter a subjective experience in that way. But if you go in there to argue with someone, like I was saying to Aaron A earlier on YouTube, never argue with Christians. It's like talking to a wall. Because there's just, it doesn't matter what logic you bring to them. They're going to talk in a circle to get through their belief system. They're just not going to let you take it away from them. It doesn't work that way. They got to do it themselves. Like, none of us left Christianity, for example, without us being the one to leave it. Nobody got me to leave it. I read the thing and was like, this is insane. And I'm pretty sure that's basically what everyone in here did. So whether it comes to religion, whether it comes to government, whether it comes to anything in period, just any type of belief system whatsoever, any type of structure, the monetary system, it doesn't matter what it is, what level of reality it's on. It is on you as the individual to come to your conclusions and then take action based on those conclusions. You can't change other people. You might be able to provide something for other people, but they were already looking for that thing. You just happen to have it. So they're like, oh, thank you. Fuck, I've been looking for this. You did not change them. You just gave them what they already needed.
Right. And you know, it's really funny though, when you deal with fundamentalists on any level, it's always the same thing of them denying what's there in front of their face. Like even when they ask you questions about it, like if you tell them honestly what you think about it, they'll still get mad at you if you say something that they don't like. Like, for example, I brought up how it was interesting. Like I framed my point in a way that would try to make them think. I really did try. I said, think about it. You believe that your God is all powerful, right? And has absolute power and infinite power, right? Okay, yeah, sure. Okay. So riddle me this. Why does the supreme and all-powerful, all-knowing God need an army of angels? Why do you need guardians around your throne 24/7? Why do you need these beings to always surround you and keep you safe? Could it be that there are other beings out there more powerful than you who are trying to fuck you up? I mean, you don't have bodyguards for no reason. So even their own book portrays that this thing is not all powerful. It's not as powerful as they make it. It's just something that
it's implying that I can touch your ass, motherfucker.
Exactly.
I can get my fucking grimy little hands around your fucking quote godly throat.
Right.
And let's not go into pre-biblical texts where Yahweh gets pissed on, cummed on, shit on, like where he was a low-level god who then became a storm god because his people upgraded him based on trying to copy Set. Let's be real. That's when they gave him the Saturnian powers and the storm powers and all that stuff. And then, because before he wasn't a god of storms, he was just a god of like rains and crops and stuff. Then he became a god of storms. Then he gets beat up again by war gods. And then they upgrade him to a war god when his actual people, you know, the Jews who were running around the Middle East killing people, absorbed tribes that they murdered and then gave their gods attributes to him.
Right.
Like,
you're literally just you're upgrading your god with every time you conquer a new people. It's like
it's like an RPG.
So like, all right, well, now that we've taken over these people, we can attribute aspects of their god onto our god. You know, intermingle holidays, which is exactly what it's still been happening now. It just hasn't happened in a long enough time period. So people, they tend to forget. They get complacent. But, everything from the names of the holidays to the names of the days of the week to the names of the month, it's all fucked up. It's all based on, pre-existing either pagan holidays. A lot of them are Nordic or Norse. You know, it's eventually that'll all change too, because it all always changes. It's inevitable.
It already did. Look, we have Christmas now. We have Halloween now. Like you're gonna say, like we've already moved into the capitalist versions of it, the amalgamations of it, where it's not even really religious in the sense that people think of religion. It still is, because capitalism is a religion, government is a religion, your country, your nation, being patriotic, all that shit's a religion. Everything that monetary systems are religion. Everything is based on belief. If you didn't believe it, the shit wouldn't work. So even now, it's still the same thing, just upgraded and updated for the era of slaves they have to control today. So back in the day, you had original workings where, let's say you had a solstice of some sort. You didn't necessarily celebrate the solstice. You just knew it meant the next season was coming. It was a knowledge thing. It was a farmer thing, you know, like the almanac. The sky is an almanac. So you used it for that. Then later you begin celebrating these things because you're like, well, that means winter's ending and we get spring coming. Let's celebrate. Like it's going to be warm again. And then fall, hey, harvest time. Let's celebrate and eat some good food. Like celebrations get added on. Then you have religions built out of these things where you dedicate them to gods and et cetera, which literally creates them in the astral, by the way. Like people need to stop creating gods. Like, but then from there, you get these religions built, and then these religions start fighting each other and eating each other until one becomes more powerful than the rest. And it starts to amalgamate all of their other religious practices into itself. And then from there, you get civilizational structures and societal structures based on monetary systems, banking systems, capitalism, and you end up with capitalized versions of it where we are today. It's like a step-by-step process of how we get here, and somehow people don't see that shit, but they think that their version of it's the only version of it, and they still, well, Jesus is the reason for the season. No, he's not. He never was. Saturnalia came way before Jesus. Like, you want to talk about Easter? Well, because he was resurrected. What about Ostara, what it's literally named after? How about Ishtar?
Yeah.
You know, like, how about Asherah? Like,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how about Lilith, who is a version of Ostara? Like, Ereshkigal, rising from, even when Inanna went down there to the underworld and then rose again. Like, it's these are retellings of the same thing to give you a mythology to understand your reality, to place yourself within that reality, to understand who you are, where you are, when you are, how you are, why you are, what you are. Like, but instead, they just want to read them externally from a third person perspective, not realizing they're supposed to peep the mythos and find themselves in the story. Once you find yourself in the story, you know what you're supposed to do.
Masonic. That's why I like the Masonic secrets so much. They have the pillars of Jachin and Boaz, the light and the dark. They have the central ladder. And these motherfuckers, they get stuck on the bottom of the ladder, ignoring one of the pillars, pulling people down by the legs and the ankles.
Crabs in a bucket. Can't let the other crabs get out the bucket. You're still in the bucket. Like, got to pull them back down. They got to be with you in the bucket. You know? And misery loves company. So they got to be miserable together. Anyone wants to come to a solution of any kind. It really doesn't matter what it is. They're like, no. No solutions. We just whine and complain. Like we just like that's how it is with everything. No solutions. We're just gonna bow to this God over here and wait for him to give us a solution. The same being that made this shit. We're gonna wait for him to come solve this shit. Wait, what? You're gonna wait for the dude who made the problem to solve the problem? What do you hear yourself?
I don't remember who was talking about it. It was like 5 or so minutes right before I hopped in, but it's on the subject of like different archetypes, and that's basically what the whole concept of like God is. You know, you just create certain concepts that you want to either embody or that you want certain aspects of nature to be, fertility, crops, storms, fucking good fortune, all the stereotypical stuff, strength, success, battle, all that stuff, So these attributes then turn into these certain godlike figures. So, good prime example of that would be like Hermes, then Thoth, many different iterations of the same character that take on the same attributes, and that just becomes a certain archetype, you know? And
That's the mythos.
exactly. But people don't look at it in that broader sense. They always just try to match a certain specific face to the archetype, to a god, to whatever, to then be like, all right, well, I'm going to pray or, you know, do rituals or veneer this god. I want to pray to this god instead of just embodying that archetype for themselves and what those attributes are for themselves.
Exactly.
Because if a god can harness those attributes, then so can you. And that's kind of what that whole, again, going into like Kundalini work and the clip off and the tree of life, it's all the same stuff. It's all just
Yes. The left-hand path.
getting into the different emanations of whatever you want to call God to be, the supreme being. And if we are, you know, a minor emanation of that, then there's a way to achieve that. And even if there's just a slight way to become a, you know, a higher being here on this plane before you die, ascend wherever you go when you die, you know. Again, just like what I said before, it's like getting college credits in high school, just so that you're preparing yourself for whatever comes next. You know, you're able to take on the fucking people like us who to be more aware of this. You know, to other people, it just goes completely over their heads because they're just not, you know, they're not ready, for lack of a better word. They're just friggin', they're not destined for it. They're not ready for that step. They either need to come back here a few more times, if that's even going to be an option, you know, or maybe they need to just have a certain critical awakening moment that fucking, you know, if the state of the world isn't that already, I don't know what to tell people. Like, I've spent fucking the last 10
So
years
true.
or so trying to wake people up for just certain shit. You know, all my friends and family, they're all like, oh yeah, man, you're right about X, Y, and Z, but they're all still doing the exact same thing.
Always.
They're stuck on the exact same path. And then they'll always look back to me and be like, oh, hey, remember years ago when you talked about this or this? And I'm like, yeah. So I'm fucking over it now. There's no sense in trying to fucking wake anyone up or fucking help anyone out. Got to focus on me and my own path because that's really all it is. You know, stick with a community if you want to call like what we got going on. You know, just try and freaking get with the like-minded individuals. But like, it's really all just individual work at the end of the day. There's really no sense in, you know, trying to force feed other people information or fucking, you know, it's up to them.
Facts.
Right.
Even a group is individuals. A group is nothing but individuals coming together who have the same idea or at least the same agenda. You might not even have the same, like I said earlier, we might not all 100% agree on exactly what's going on here, but we all know we don't fuck with it. And we all believe in different solutions for it. So instead of arguing with each other about what the solution is, you just put your solution on the table and say, who wants to help me do this? And whoever's like, I'll help you do that, they show up and they help you do that. If they're like, that's not the solution for me, well, fine, find your solution, brother. Go and I bid you farewell. Like right? I hope that yours. Matter of fact, I hope that one of us is correct because we could both be wrong. Like it's so, like the more solutions you have on the table to the same problem or problems, the better, because then you could try them all and see what actually works. Everybody wants everyone to be on the same page about the same thing. And that's why I got that up on the screen right now. Is there any solution though? There's 1,000 of them. There's incountable amounts of solutions. The question is, which one works for you? Which one do you think is the best one, or which ones and on what levels of reality? See, for me, I say entropy because entropy is something that can affect all levels of reality, no matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you're in a simulation, a false reality, a true reality, a base reality. Entropy works the same on all levels of reality. So no matter where you are, even if I end up in the next level of simulation, let's say I'm here, they flip a switch, the nanotech turns on, and all of a sudden I'm in another level of the matrix. Guess what still works there? Entropy. It's the only thing that works everywhere. That is the god of chaos. You raise the entropy to the point of chaos, which brings destruction to systems of order. It's very simple shit. Like, so the question, even when people say like, we should go to war here, I'm like, that's a form of entropy. We should kill ourselves. That's a form of entropy. We should kill ourselves and go to another realm and go to war there. That's a form of entropy. We should kill ourselves, end up in base reality, take the headset off and kill the mantis people or insectoids or whatever. That's a form of entropy. Like all of that is entropy. You are disturbing a system of order with your own chaos. You are bringing destruction to that which holds you. Inside, outside, both. Like I say, now this is me. Again, folks don't even have to agree with me because some people believe there's nothing you can do here. Fine. Go to where you think you can go to be the most useful and do it there. But if you're here, in my opinion, because we're here, start here. You're gonna die anyway. So if you think that you have to die to go do something somewhere else, then make your death worth it if possible. Do something here in the process. And guess what? If it ultimately amounts to nothing because you can't do anything here, then it didn't matter anyway. You still died. You still end up in the same place you're going to go later. And then you can go do the thing you believed in. It's like, and that's why I said, don't talk shit to Chris about the video he made the other day when he's talking about going to war here, because guess what? Let's say we go to war here and let's say we completely lose and we all die. Guess where we all end up? Over there. Like, so now we can all do it over there. Like, and I'm like, so depending on whatever you believe, do that. It's that simple. Like, and support anyone doing that which they believe is a solution. This is why I always say we need a day of chaos. I would like to take like a year and just plan this out straight up, where on the same day, everyone does all the things they need to do. All these folks who want to kill themselves, let's get a date. All the folks who want to go to war, let's get a date. Let's plan it. And it might take more than a year. Like, I'm just throwing these things out there because there's 4 of us in this chat. There's 15 people listening, but there's thousands of people, bare minimum, if not millions, like listening to people like us all over the world. There's people in China who we will never hear because their fucking internet is separate, talking shit like this, but they have to go through 17 different channels just to talk this shit. But in every country, there's people talking some shit like this.
True.
So if everybody figured out, even if you start with one group, just our group does a day of chaos, a year from now, 4 years from now, 3 months from now, whatever day it may be, other people around the world see that and go, wait, a group came together, basically an anarchist group, because they had no order, they had no structure, there was no hierarchy, and they all just did whatever the fuck they thought was the answer. 1,000 of them killed themselves, 1,000 more of them went and burned down different AI companies, 1,000 more of them were shooting police in the streets. Like, they sowed chaos in the system. Maybe we should try that over here in China. Like, you understand? Like, somebody's got to be those Minutemen who step out on the field and be like, yeah, we're not letting you in our town, British. Like, we will paint this field red with our blood before you just walk in there. Like, before we just let you do what the fuck you want to do. Like, but people don't see that. So what do they want to do instead? They want to argue. They want to pretend there's nothing anyone can do anywhere, or only their solution is the only possible solution. But they can't prove that shit. None of them. I can't prove that my solution is the only solution. The only thing that I can prove is that entropy works in all level, and all solutions are entropy. So, like, whatever form of entropy you wish to put forth, that's just the form of entropy you're putting forth, but it's all entropy.
People want to do minimal effort and get massive immediate results, is really what that comes down to. You know, that's why, like, voting, for whatever reason, is still a thing in people's mind. They still think that they can just fucking get some sort of messiah-like figure, which is all that is. You know, your president, your governor, your mayor, you know, these are the leaders. These are the representation of the people. These are godlike beings. They have the power. They are they're the supreme being. And if you don't either overthrow them, you know, and whatever it takes to do that, which, you know, people are very uncomfortable with. They don't want to get their hands dirty. They don't want to, you know, have the repercussions of what happens to them if they fucking, you know, kill someone, because that's really what it is, what we're talking about, you know. But, you know,
yeah,
that just goes into what we were talking about earlier, though.
Some of the 2020 stuff and how it affects the future, maybe hijacking the system.
Yeah, go ahead and break some of that down.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to be right back. Then I'll jump in and I'll talk about that.
All right. Well, while he gets ready to come right back, I'll start with that. 2020, the jab. So let's look at the beginning of 2020 before you even get to the jab, right? Because this is how these things work. This is just going to be a case study. It's not even about 2020 per se. Don't get me wrong. That jab was important, but like, let's just break down. It starts with them getting everybody to be afraid of something. And then they start with getting them to step one. If you put on the mask, you already helped the vaccine get done. If you do step one to any of the enemy's plans, it doesn't matter whether it's in this physical reality, whether it's religious, no matter what it is, when they're telling you to do something and you do that, when they're telling you not to do something and you don't do it, you are automatically helping them accomplish goal 100 because you just helped them accomplish goal number 1. So now they can move on to goal number 2. So whenever you see these things in the future, if anything happens, whether it's on this planet or any other reality, do not do a fucking thing they tell you to do. Like, if you are in this particular community, I want you to look yourself in the mirror, because don't let me tell you. You tell yourself. You know what you did in 2020. You know what you didn't do in 2020. You know what you've done since 2020. You know what you may very well still be doing today. Don't do it. If you're gonna do it, look at yourself and call yourself a pussy. Like, if it's not like a medical facility, you better not have no fucking masks on. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if you do, you already know you're contributing to their shit. Period. Even if the virus was real, even if it was killing people, don't be afraid. Like, are you afraid of death? Like, or I feel like everyone in this community is like, nah, man, well, I can't wait for that shit. Like, so what the fuck you wearing a mask for then, bro? If they're trying to make it easy, walk outside, no mask on. Like, oh, y'all trying to kill me? I'm right here. Like, I'm gonna breathe all this shit in. I don't like, you know, like, why are you doing anything they tell you to do? Because if you're not afraid of death, none of that shit should matter to you anyway. They can't scare you with it. So you shouldn't be doing that shit.
The funniest part about that is also the scare tactics, how diverse they were and how laughable. At one point, they were saying, if you don't wear a mask, you're gonna kill grandma.
Go kill grandma.
The only thing I've ever been afraid of is being locked up. But tell you what, that's why the freedom of guns is awesome, because you walk around with a gun. Some motherfucker threatens you, like, kill me, bitch.
Facts. I'm not. You gotta put me in a cage, bro. You got to put me in the ground.
Stuff. For real.
But since you're back, Aaron, do me a favor and go in on that, because I know you wanted to talk about that deeply.
Yeah, I watched this video just last night that one of the only ones talking about that they changed the human race entirely. I know there's the Hydra vulgaris. I think it's an engineered Hydra specifically that was like implanted in that stuff. I can't prove it necessarily, but doctors have both danced around it, and some of them have come forth and somehow lost their jobs. Go figure. So I guess it's the truth. But I think that it's to engineer the modern version of this. One person called them, what was the term? They're practically vampires. The creatures that they're turning into. Have you seen the way they're changing people? Because I know people personally that went white hair, almost white hair, and they're just like, oh, it's not the thing. I'm like, what the fuck? Did not have hair that was graying this fast. Like, people in my own family, I could almost do a control experiment by looking at the ones who took it and the ones who didn't take it. And I'm like, oh yeah, the ones who had that thing, their hair is turning whiter, they're paler, like they look like they're turning into those underground creatures slowly. I don't think it's bad necessarily. I think the people, I mean, not for us. I think we can weaponize it the way that this person said that there will be beings that have more autistic tendencies. Like, I had amounts of that when I was young, but I overcame it myself. A lot of the thing that caused it was probably the, stuff growing up. They do that growing up. But I know how it could be when they're very violent people. Like, I myself, I'll personally tell people I just want to kill. I tried to join the army because I wanted a legal way to kill, honestly. That's the job I wanted. They didn't want me because of autism.
Me too, brother. Me too.
Like, man, I wish I could have gotten the job I was qualified for. I qualified for a 13 Romeo position, field artillery firefinder radar operator. Like, I would have, you can look it up. People can say that autistic people are retarded and go look up what I qualified for. It requires a 99 on communications, no less. I'm so antisocial that I get a 99 on an army score for communications. No fucking thing. Anyhow, autism disqualified me eventually. The irony. I was going to be in the position of putting down missiles on the ground using mathematics and telling the mortar men where to put their artillery fire. It would have been wonderful. I'm kind of glad I didn't get it, though, because now I'm here looking at what the system really is and being like, they never appreciated me anyways. They just called me retarded to my face. And, yeah, I want to do something about it. I got off topic. But I think they're changing these newer people that'll be born into this world, like that other video said. What was their channel? Mystic something. Mystic 9. Forget exactly. She had talked about how people are going to be born with these tendencies to kill and to vampirize people. What if we can recruit these motherfuckers? They want to destroy shit.
Exactly. Precisely. And this is why I'm always talking about the youth. Mark knows this. Adam knows this. I'm always like, the old people, leave them. They're done. Like, a lot of the people in my generation, a lot of millennials are cooked. They're too hyped up on bullshit technologies and AI and cryptos, and like they're just too engrossed in the shit their parents taught them. It's the fucking Gen Zers and the Gen Alpha dudes who are gonna actually be like, my son is 17. He's gonna be fighting this war.
Yes.
Like, I was talking to a Lindy the other day who has a child. He's gonna be fighting this war. That, like, Hypnosis, his son, he's gonna be fighting this war. like if we're real about it, it's not even our generation that is going to do most of the fighting. Even if we spark it off, they're going to have to do it all. And if we don't spark it off, they're going to have to really do it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't, they don't seem to realize. Go ahead.
Oh, I said we need to begin the initiation of violence.
Exactly. We got to give them something to follow in. Like, if they just see a bunch of people continuing to go along and get along, that's what they're going to think that they need to do. And these kids, being fucked up as they are the perfect little recruits. All these little savages on the internet, like they just need to get pulled out of their bedrooms and given a pistol and shown who to shoot at. A lot of these kids are going to be great send-offs, perfect little soldiers. Yes. Because when the world is being ripped out from under them, like, I know a lot of Gen Zers who are like, yeah, I've applied to 372 jobs. I got one and I was laid off on day 4. And like, and I'm like, so you ready to go to war yet? Like, and this is the problem with the older folks, is they see these young ones and go, they're lazy and this and that. And I go, no, they're being destroyed from the moment before they're even born. And you're the parents, millennials, and, you know, like, and above. Don't sit here and talk about generations beneath you as this, that, and the other thing when you're the ones letting the shit happen to them. It's your fault. Yours. Anything that happened to a generation beneath you is your fault. Your fault. Oh, we got to push this up here. Violence is not the answer. Yes, the fuck it is. So, first and foremost, you tell me what the answer is. Because, see, here we go. If you're saying that's not the answer, then you find out what the answer is. And guess what? Promote that answer and then carry out that answer. Don't tell other people what the answer is to something happening to them physically. If somebody is physically aggressing, if I kicked in your door right now, S. Jord, and tried to kill you, would you not fight me? Yes, you would. Let's be real. Unless you're too scared, you'd fight me. If I kicked in your door barehanded, I don't got no gun, so there's no excuses to be like, oh, well, I can't fight a gun. No, bare hands. And I'm like, I'm about to beat you to death. Prepare yourself. I guarantee you're going to put your hands up because you're being aggressed upon. It doesn't matter what level of reality you're on. If you're on that level and being aggressed upon on that level, you commit violence on that level. Whether it's here, in the afterlife, in the astral, in base reality, Wherever you are, if you're being aggressed upon, you defend yourself. Period. Point blank, plain and simple. If you don't want to, prepare to be aggressed upon eternally. Because bullies don't stop bullying until you punch them in the face. Whether that bully is a police officer, whether it's some scientist with a jab, whether it's a politician, whether it is an elitist or an elite, whether it's the guy down the street, the robber next door, the thug in the alleyway, or whether it's angels, gods, archons, Yaldabaoths, demiurges, AIs, mantises, greys, reptilian, whatever you are being aggressed upon by, your only answer is to destroy that thing, to stop their aggression. You're not going to stop the aggression with love. You're not going to stop it with, I'm just going to ignore it and it's going to go away. It's going to be like, this guy's a fucking retard. I'm going to keep hitting him. Like this, that doesn't work that way. If you get your pockets ran every day you walk down the street and you don't punch the dude, stab the dude, shoot the dude, he's going to keep running your pockets every day you walk down the street. So if violence isn't the answer, you tell me what is, because it's the answer on all levels of reality, from here to the greater void. There is no other answer. That's okay. Yeah. We're backed into a corner, though, not physically. Not physically. Are you not here right now?
What?
Are you talking to me from the astral?
When did you go outside last? Have you been sitting inside while the fucking police watch you to go over a certain limit so that they can pull you over, threaten you with a fucking firearm, and shoot you with that or a taser, put you in a cell and traffic your ass? And you're saying that it's not happening in our daily lives. Motherfucker, when did you walk outside?
Bro, do you go to work every day? Do you pay taxes? Are you a citizen of a country? Like, you slave? Like you're a slave? I don't know how many times I gotta tell people this. You're literally a slave. It is happening to you all day. It's happening to you right now as we speak. We're talking on their AI-controlled technology because we have no other option but to talk on it in order to communicate across long distances. We can't even communicate without these motherfuckers, but it's not happening to you? Where are you, bro, that it's not happening to you? Because I need to go there. I need to be wherever the fuck you at. Because everywhere I've been, it's happening.
Yeah, and a lot of times what it comes down to is the thing that I hear a lot. They'll say, "Oh, but we don't have an army. They have an army. So what is violence gonna achieve if they have an army?" Okay, but the thing about that is, look at America. Look at American war history. What happened in Vietnam?
Thank you.
The Viet Cong were not an army that was trained. Like, a lot of these guys were popping out of bushes with little bayonets and just stabbing motherfuckers. And
Most of the time when
women.
America gets their asses handed to them, it's because of either people in trees or people in caves. So I mean, like, guerrilla warfare.
Right.
Come to my street. Come to my house. Come to my booby-trapped fucking house, Fed boy. Like, come on, let's fucking go live.
Exactly.
And they managed to defeat the empire, and the empire left. And this was like by village farmers with pitchforks, essentially.
See, people don't get that. Whenever somebody says that, I go, tell it to Spartacus. Tell it to Nat Turner. Tell it to Leonidas. Tell it to all those dudes in the movies you saw. Tell it to William Wallace. Tell it to any freedom fighter you've ever cheered for in any form of entertainment you've ever saw. Tell it to anyone in history who's ever fought in a slave revolt. Tell it to the Haitians who overthrew the French, the British, the Spaniards, the Portuguese. Come on. Even the religious people say this. The Hebrews, the Jews, we overthrew the oppressors in Egypt and we drowned them in the Red Sea, and our God freed us, and we went to war everywhere, and that's how we established Israel. So we're going to keep fighting war until we win, because that's your enemy. Like, the people right here, right now, let alone anything beyond this reality, are waging violence against you because that's how they control you. It is their last resort because it's not what they want to do. It's what they have to do. When people don't listen, they have to show up with guns. This is why cops have guns. This is why militaries have guns and bombs and drones and shit. Because if they can't get you to just obey them, guess what? They got to force it upon you. But if you're like, I will die before I listen to you, then they can't, can they? then they can. And if you actually win, oh my God, that's a whole other story. Like bare minimum, die for the shit you believe in, or win. Like those should be the only two options: victory.
Right.
I remember Adolf Hitler himself said that. He said, he goes, they want us to compromise and meet somewhere in the middle. No, and 1,000 times no. There's only two options: victory or defeat. And they were defeated. But they fought all the way to Berlin. Like they fought right till he was in the room with the other people. Like, all right, guys, minus the conspiracy theories of where, wherever he could be. You know what I'm saying? But if we just take the story, they fought right up to the room, and he was like, all right, guys, I'll see you on the other side. Like, so it's blatantly obvious that no matter where you are, the option is always going to be fight back. If you don't, you're just going to be a slave. Period. There's no third option. If you're on the plantation picking cotton and somebody's like, let's run away, and you're like, no, I don't think I'm gonna do that. Let's kill Massa. Let's go slaughter these people. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. So you just want to stay here and be a slave then? Yeah, I guess I'll do that. That's the only other option. Because even when you run away, guess what happens if they catch you? You're gonna need to commit violence.
Right.
Like, these are simple facts. Like, it's step-by-step logic. If you're a slave and you want to get out of slavery, violence is almost certainly going to be necessary at some point. There's just no two ways around it. If you could find a third way, please let me know. I've been looking for one.
Yeah, pull the Jedi mind tricks and teach us.
This is another one. They're going to use it to justify tightening the grip. They're already tightening the grip. What do you think the Great Reset is? The World Economic Forum. Build back better. What do you think police and military are? You're already a slave. The grip has already been tightened. Are you comfortable right now? Do you like this reality? Are you happy here? Because if you aren't, guess what? They already got the grip on you. And they're tightening it anyway. The only thing is they're tightening it slowly, so you're like frogs boiling slowly. I would much rather them turn the water all the way up so the frogs start jumping out the pot. But the only way that's going to happen is if frogs start jumping out the pot prematurely, because they got to cook you faster. And that's where they fuck up the recipe. You have to make them fuck up the recipe by jumping out the pot early. So the other frogs go, oh, wait, we could just jump out the damn pot? I didn't know we could jump out the pot. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for posting that, Juggalog. Anyone want to jump in? I just spat for like 5 minutes.
All my points in for now.
There we go. I battle in the spirit. See, and that's your solution. And by all means, I completely 100% support that. 100%. But you got to battle somewhere. You got to battle somewhere. Wherever it is you think you're the most useful, that's where you got to battle. If folks ain't trying to do one battle, then pick another battle. Don't sit here and tell other people, like some folks like, well, don't do violence, just do spiritual battle. No, I want to do both. I'm doing all of the above. Name a battle. Let's do it all. If you don't want to do that, then go find the battle you want to do and get to work. Don't just run around the internet disagreeing with people so they could just keep being slaves forever. Pick a battle, my guy. Pick a battle. You know what I'm saying? It's that simple. It's not really hard to understand. He's been physically attacked by the system and had to let him go because the authority is based on a lie. The minions just don't know it. They fully believe the lies. Yes, they do. And because they believe the lies, they enforce the lies. So step one, which is what we're doing right now, is to spread the information so less people believe the lies. So they have something else to see other than the lies. Step two is once people realize that and they see these problems, is come to a solution or solutions. Step three is enact those solutions in any way you can. Very simple logical steps here. If you have a math problem, figure out the order of operations and then solve that bitch and come to a conclusion. That's how all things in existence work. But people like to act like there's no answers for anything at all, ever. I'm like, then sit here as a slave and don't talk. Go sit in a corner somewhere and do nothing. If there's no solutions on any level of reality, go sit in a corner and do nothing. If you see a solution of any kind, get to recruiting for that. And if you don't need recruiting, if you don't need more than one person, go do it yourself. It's this easy. But instead, we just come up with every excuse to go to work tomorrow. We come up with every excuse to continue doing exactly what they want us to do. instead of coming up with every reason not to. Start coming up with reasons not to. All right, I'm done yapping for this moment.
Yeah, and a lot of it is because people don't question authority too. Like they don't ask the question, what makes a cop an authority? Like, what makes a judge an authority? Like, where does this sense of authority come from? Like, it's just obeyed, blindly obeyed, and nobody's questioning what makes you an authority over me. Oh, well, I've got a gun.
Yeah.
I have a gun too. It's like,
like, yeah, let me jump in one more time, because he just said there is no solution. You're not going to fix the system. And then he says, just don't comply. You're giving me a solution. You just said, just don't comply. That is a solution. Like, do you read your own sentence, bro? Like, there is no solution. Just don't comply. That's step one. Period. If you are in an enemy system, step one is don't comply with it. Period. Everything else comes after that. If you're still complying, you're not solutions oriented. Don't comply is step one. Like, that is step one of your solution. You're coming up with your own solution right now, right here, live. Like, you're already thinking it through, whether you realize it or not. And nobody said anything about fixing the system. I didn't say fix the system. I know nobody in this chat says fix the system. Like, none of us four believe there's fixing any of this. The system isn't broken. There's nothing to fix. This is the system. Destroy the system. Starting with do not comply, and then increase the entropy in every way you see fit. If you see fit by not paying taxes or something, then don't pay taxes. If you don't want to engage in the monetary system, don't engage in the monetary system. If you're going to engage in the monetary system so you can buy a bunch of guns and go to war, buy a bunch of guns and go to war. If you whatever you see as a solution after do not comply, yes, sir, after do not comply, that's step one. Now, if that's all you want to do, that's like Jesus, if you will. I'm just not going to do what y'all said to do. Okay, cool. I'm fine with you staying right there. Just don't feed the enemy. Like, just don't give them your servitude. That is a solution for those who are nonviolent or this, that, and the other thing. But for those who are violent, don't you dare sit there and be like, don't go do that. Don't do that. No. Everybody do whatever solution you see that's necessary. Period. Don't sit here and argue with other people who are coming to other solutions because you're not willing to do that. If you're not willing to do that, then you do whatever you're willing to do. It's that simple. What comes after that? Why are you worried about what comes after that? Like, see, I was talking to my little brother about this earlier. He goes, well, if we destroyed the system and we destroyed, basically civilization, what better system will we put to? I go, oh, why are you talking about step 100 when you ain't did step 1 yet? You don't even know. I'm like, first off, that's like, and I broke it down because he likes football. I was like, that's like asking Tom Brady, what play are we going to run, 6 minutes into the fourth quarter? I don't know. We're not there yet. Like, we have to get through. We haven't even snapped the ball in the first play yet. It's still Monday. We're still on the practice field. We haven't even started the game. Nobody's even playing yet. And you want to talk about what we're going to do in the fourth quarter next Sunday? Like, get to the game first. Start playing. Get to the fourth quarter. Then when you're at the end of the game, if you actually win, because you got to win first, win the game, and then go, all right, now let's look at everything we have here, and what are we going to do with it? So if you want to make the world a better place, which I don't even believe is possible, but I'm willing to let you people believe it is. So if that's what you want to do, I'm not the arbiter of all truth. I'm not the arbiter of all solutions. If you want to fix the world in some manner of fact, then step one is to get rid of what is already here and blocking you from doing that. That's step one. Start step one. And then once you're done doing that, you'll see whatever is left over, because that's a lot of destruction that needs to be done. And whatever you have left over, whatever resources are available to you, you make plans based on that. You do not know what's going to be here after the destruction. You don't know how many people are going to be here, what people are going to be here. And most likely, if you're in that war, you won't be. So you don't even really have to worry about that. Like, I'm not worried about if we went to war today. I'm not thinking 5 years from now. I'm thinking today. If I'm playing a basketball game, I'm not thinking about the fourth quarter when it's 10-10 in the first quarter. I'm thinking about scoring this next bucket. I'm thinking about what's the next play we're running. What do I have to do at this exact moment to get to the next play? Stop trying to think 1,000 feet ahead, because the truth is you're only thinking that far ahead to not do anything now. People want to think about step 1,000 just so they don't have to do step 1, just so they can ignore step 1. Like, stop doing this to yourselves. Like, seriously. Well, what are we going to replace it with? I don't know, and I don't give a fuck. All I know is that if we get to that point and I'm still here somehow, I'm going to look at what is there, see what's available, and make a plan from there. And guess what? If what rises from that, I also don't like that, I'm going to burn that shit to the ground too. Like, I'm not even thinking about what the next system will be, because that doesn't matter while we're in this one. It's like, well, should we make another Matrix after we destroy this one? Have we destroyed this one yet? Then why the fuck are you even thinking about that? Like, where the fuck are you, bro? Get in the game. Like, all right, I'm done ranting. As long as he doesn't say something else that's crazy.
Yeah, if we don't do anything, Exotech is right, but we got to do something so we don't lose our minds.
Because I already lost mine. I lost mine a long time ago. I lost mine in 2020. I lost and found mine in 2020. I lost my human mind in 2020 and found my God mind, found my demonic mind. Realizing that I was not for the shit they're doing in any level, in any sense of the word. Period. And if you're not for it, don't engage in it. And if you're brave enough to do something extra, do whatever that extra is. If you need recruits, start recruiting. If you can do it alone, do it alone. You notice how I keep repeating the same shit? Because the answer is the same no matter what the question is. Find the solution, recruit for it if you need to, implement the solution. There is no solutions, then go sit in a corner, shut the fuck up, and let the adults talk. It's that simple. Aaron, go in on those them jabby jabs and that and the shit you wanted to talk about.
Oh yeah, they were practically implanted with nanobots, and they have transformed the human race into, that's it, Nephilim, from this video I was watching, and I've been watching it take place. As I was saying though, these people that'll be born in these coming times they'll probably advance rapidly, and they do need to be recruited. They need to become the young war front. The people that we know probably become some other form of vampiric entities. Have you ever watched Blood Sea? Because that anime was spot on. But they talked about the chiropterans, the bat species, and it was like disclosure, that whole thing. Yeah, black goo, X matter. I call it X matter. Actually, black goo I don't think is X matter, but I know that black goo is in tandem with X matter. It's like what I like to call the black matter, but it's not quite black matter. It'd be a dark form of the in-between veil type state. And the black goo is a hive mind of a sort of retrovirus based on that. It's its own thing, but it works on the X matter, the basis of X matter. I think X matter can be programmed to our liking, but I also think that it's part of what made the jab so powerful, is that it pulls from a sort of anti-matter dimension and thus connects into these other points of power that can then be modulated via frequency nets, whatnot. The high sci-fi stuff, they're connecting to the genetic frequencies and programming the human beings that have taken that stuff on the whim. Maybe those systems can be programmed. Maybe that'd be another part of the solution. But we need to realize that they're acting from the blood itself now. It's like having X matter in the very structure of the blood, and it enacts these changes whenever it wants to, whenever the system tells it to. I wonder what connects to that. There's got to be deep underground computer systems. They're probably the most guarded shit ever. It's just a thought.
Yeah, I would like to know where the fuck they get this material from in general. Like, where do they even find this shit? How do they make it? It's like, that's really insane.
I've done remote viewing. I think I've remote viewed a large craft, like massive, almost moon-sized not as large as the moon, but really big spaceships. One's under the western United States and one's under the African continent. And there's another not as large as the other two, but it's under the area of Ireland over there. Like they're massive ships and they're deep underground from what I've remote viewed. Skinwalker Ranch connects into a base that, from what I've remote viewed, it goes straight into one of these ships that has X matter, like a reservoir. It's like it was meant to be a holding tank that was parked under the ground through whatever means. And it's a reservoir of this black X matter, just like the Venom movie. So I think that's maybe at some point going to be unleashed as a fail-safe mechanism.
And before anybody wants to argue with Aaron A on that, I'm going to say it for 15th time, so I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep interjecting. You tell us what the problem is from your perspective then, and then you tell us what the solution is from your perspective. That is from Aaron A's perspective based on his study and research. He literally just told you he remote viewed it. He gave you his subjective experience, and he was brave enough to say that shit on the internet. So before anybody comes in here and argues with it, how about you tell us what the fuck you think it is, and then you give us your solution to it. And those who agree with Aaron A on that and agree with any possible solutions that can come from that, do that. Those who agree with any other problems being problems and any other solutions to those problems, do that. Don't come in here and argue with him about it. You know, like, I'm just going to keep saying that every now and again. Go ahead, gentlemen.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of underground bases that will connect into various structures. Now, I absolutely know that for a fact. I don't fucking think. So anyways, yeah, they're definitely having some form of power underground that needs to be overrun. Like one of the biggest parts of this war we're going to enter is obviously buildings need to be shot the fuck up. People that run the funding for BlackRock, you've talked about it, Shangel. They got their central structures. Do things to them. There's going to be basements in some of these buildings that go lower and lower. We'll probably end up fighting real high-level Draco. But I mean, this is a do and die effort. We're not going to be soft about anything. We got to get into these structures by all means necessary and utterly obliterate the system. We need a real war front to do it. I think that if we can prove the underground bases are legit, like if we can do something so deterministic against the system, like we're so determined to go in and destroy the employees of a BlackRock building, and we just continually do this type of shit, we're probably going to run into a building that connects deep underground infrastructure and at least get a level into that. Imagine the chaos. If we could hijack a media's building and even in a local area, make it get the fuck out into the airwaves, that there are underground buildings that your government is hiding from you on the fucking film script. People would flip out. They would raid the fucking buildings. They would probably overthrow the government for us.
Precisely. And here's the thing. So I can already hear it now. We'll never be able to do that. I can already hear some softy out there. We'll never be able to do that. Have you ever tried? Have you ever even thought about trying? You know,
that's the thing. It takes a spark. It only takes a handful of people. You know, it doesn't really take a fucking thousands and thousands of fucking people to really make an impact with certain things. It's really just causing the spark because, like you mentioned earlier, it's going to be fucking my son and the next generation that really has to fucking pull on, you know?
Exactly. Like, let's just leave it to everyone else to do it. Because that's honestly what a lot of people's answer is. Like, I'm just going to, you know, not do anything about it. And I, you know, like, again, I don't mind if people are like, well, I'm going to kill myself, get out of here and go to war over there. Cool, do it. By all means, I fully support that. But if you don't believe anything that he just said is a solution, what is your solution? If you don't think that we can ever go into one of these buildings and take them down or you'll never get to them, okay, then what should we do? And don't say nothing. Come up with a real solution and get to it. If not, let the man speak his piece. Let the man tell you his solutions to his problems and understand what he's saying. If you can walk into a CNN, take over that building, it doesn't even matter if it's just for an hour, and you just start promoting whatever it is you want to promote using their airwaves, that's literally global news, because they are the global news. Like, a lot of people will say, well, what we're here to do is spread the information. How would be the easiest way to spread information? The same way they do. like, really think about the solutions to the problems at hand and then try to recruit to get them done. And guess what? If you fail, well, you weren't doing anything else anyway. If you succeed, holy shit, look where we are. Like, we didn't even expect to do this. We thought we were all going to die at the front door, but hey, we're here. Everything is a pleasant surprise if you expect to die anyway, especially if you want to or plan to. It doesn't matter what it is. Do something. At least promote doing something. Like, I hear a lot of people who like talk about, let's do the astral stuff. But then you tell them, all right, start training astral practice. Oh, I don't want to do all that now. I just want to wait till I die and I'm just going to go there and be God. You sure, bro? You sure? Because you're here right now. If you were there before and you're here right now, obviously, something went wrong last time. You might want to practice.
Again, they want maximum results for minimum effort, and it just doesn't work like that for anything.
Some of them want no effort at all. They just want to listen to YouTube videos and cry.
That's why they're gonna love AI and being jacked in, and they're gonna be fucking, one with the machine tech god. They're gonna be tech gods themselves. They're gonna be one hive mind fucking supercomputer.
Super fast. Exotic just said he's ready to crash out.
Beautiful,
Exotic said he's ready to crash out if they try to make him take a brain shot. I'm like, and that is the perfect example. I love that terminology. When I learned what crash out means, I was like, I love that term. Everyone needs to be a fucking crash out. Like, we need generations of crash outs, and that's why I say I love Gen Z and Gen Alpha, because they're like crash out central. People make fun of them for it, and I'm like, no, that's rage, that's anger, that is untapped violence. It just needs to be steered. The youth don't know shit for the most part. They're coming into this, and all this information that is out there, there's so much shit for them to absorb so fast. A lot, like my generation, we got the internet when I was, I don't know, 10, 11, 12, something like that. I was a child still, but I didn't grow up. I wasn't born with the internet. My mother, even my older brother, who's 10 years older than me, didn't have the internet till he was basically an adult. These kids are born with it. So they have so much information being jammed at them and thrown at them, including a bunch of retarded entertainment and all sorts of bullshit, to the point where it's not easy for a lot of them to figure shit out. But those who do tend to figure it out pretty quickly. Like, somehow they were just lined up in a way where the information came to them that they needed, and they're like, oh, I get this shit real fast. Yeah, working is slavery. This is like, there's a lot of like young 20-year-olds today who are like, oh, so this is just all slavery. Like, and most of it's based on, monetary shit, like them having to go to work and things like this. But that's the step you get them at. So you see that is slavery, right? Well, let me show you the rest of this shit is slavery. Let me show you that your fucking life is slavery. Just by being here, you're enslaved. Now let me show you some solutions to that. If you know what is going on, the youth should be the people that you're trying to target the most if you can. Because those are the ones who will crash the fuck out for you. Period. It doesn't matter what country you're in. The average military age is like 22. It's like the average police recruit is like 19. So I want you to think about that. If the enemy uses the young as their crash outs, what the fuck are we doing? Like, people need to start recognizing that you're already at war. It's not starting a war. It's simply fighting back in a war that was initiated on you a long fucking time ago. And in figuring that out, you can then figure out, well, who's the best to recruit? It's not going to be some 60-year-old. It's not going to be even probably some 40-something-year-old, because they're already just set in their ways. They're going to have to definitely, almost certainly be under 40 if they're going to be going out there and fighting in any way. And if you're under 30, oh my God, that's perfect. Like, they haven't even been fully indoctrinated into adulthood yet to even come to the point where they could be stuck in their ways. They're still malleable. If they're under 20, my God, they're fresh. like that is a fresh mind to mold. And people need to start thinking this way. This is a recruitment effort. Like, if you think that you could do something by yourself, do something by yourself. But if you think that you need more than one person to do something, start recruiting. It's so simple. And start recruiting the youth. Like more importantly than anyone else. For whatever it is you see as a possible option to anything that is going on here or any level of reality. Recruit the youth, because they're going to have to fight the war anyway.
And they'll have a better reason than to crash out for something stupid.
Yes.
Like I seen a video in China, some guy had broke up with his girlfriend, and his crash out was to get in his car and just start running folks over.
Yes. Now imagine if you could tell that dude, hey, these guys over here have you enslaved, and you can get that same level of anger out of him towards some elite somewhere.
Right.
Crash out all over the world against the elites. And that's
what we need.
People are still brainwashed by nations and things, Chinese, American. No. Elites and peasants. Doesn't matter where you are on the planet, it's elites and peasants. There's no such thing as a nationality. That's make-believe. That's a religion. Every person in every country across the world should be looking at the elites of their system like, yeah, I'm about to crash the fuck out. Period. That is exactly where we need to get people to. Even the NPCs. Like, you think that every time people are rioting or protesting, or every civil war that's ever happened, or every revolution that's ever happened was just all conscious people? No, there was like 5 conscious people at the front. Everyone behind them was a goddamn robot.
Right.
Robots that they reprogrammed.
It's not even that hard.
Words.
I mean, look at what happened with the whole Luigi thing. I mean,
facts. The whole country cheered for him. Like, at least like 60% of it. And people around the world cheered for him. NPCs all over the planet were like, that guy's onto something.
It's just the right momentum, trying to figure out the right momentum to give. But this should be enough momentum. I mean, you know, daily life is pretty much the only momentum I really would have to fucking have, because, you know, look at the shit that's happening. I mean, they're making life more enslaved, if you want to say that. I mean, it's just all drudgery. It's just going to keep getting worse and worse until they ask for the impossible, and then maybe people en masse will start to get it. Maybe.
And we just have to get them there before their plan is up, because they know that, you know, and they're planning for that, but they're planning for it on their timeline. We have to speed up that timeline because we're the only ones who can. And the faster we speed up that timeline, the harder they have to go. And the harder they have to go, the more things they have to break. The more things they have to break, the more NPCs go, wait, what the fuck's going on here? The more conscious beings who are still asleep wake up. Like, wait, what's going on here?
Goals.
Until that happens, this is going to keep going in the direction it's going. So we still have to push in that direction, whether it's just with the information or with our actions on solutions, to bring people's eyes to the problems so they can then go, oh, that is a problem. Once you get them there, now you can start bringing them the solutions. But if you can't get them to the point where it's a problem, you never get them to the point where there's solutions. And that's why Aaron A. said earlier, we need to storm a CNN building. And he's not joking when he says that. We need to get 30 people together to go down to Atlanta, where their headquarters is, and storm a CNN building. We can't get 30 people?
Yes, I mean that.
How many people do they have at fucking Black Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, Cop Lives Matter? Like all these protesters who are mostly NPCs, but you telling me we can't get the conscious beings, the actual conscious beings who are listening, to get off their ass, get a plane ticket, a bus ticket? They're all working for the most part. They've got the money, like, to drive in their car or have a motherfucker pick them up like, along the way, like, to go do something useful. Like, we're gonna fight that? Well, you know, there's no point in doing that, because then they'll just crack down harder. Well, so what you're saying is we're gonna fail anyway and die, right? So then does it matter? We won't be here, but all we did was spread the information and then we left. Now we're gonna go fight over there while the people here do what they do with that information. It's like a lot of this shit is so goddamn simple, and people want to fight it every chance they get.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anybody got anything specific they want to? Go ahead.
Well, and it doesn't help, like, you know, because all this shit goes at levels. You know, it's always government, then religion, then spirituality, and on every level of it, obedience is pretty much what they're being told to do. Like obey, obey, obey,
Facts.
obey, obey. Even in the so-called spiritual groups, you have people saying, "Oh, well, you know, you can't do anything violence or physical because that's not love, and it's all about love and light." And if you have anger or hatred, it's something I've heard recently. If you have hatred or anger, that's just going to hold you back here, and that's just going to keep you in the matrix. You can't have anger or hatred, and all it is a disarming tactic. That's all it is. It's all about disarming you, because hatred and anger get shit done at the end of the day. If it weren't for those influences, the American Revolution wouldn't have happened. I mean, people got pissed off over tea and sugar. Tea and sugar.
A 2% tax. A 2% tax. We're getting taxed 34%. And I say I don't pay those shits. But Americans are getting taxed 34% right now, on top of whatever other things that are rolled into the sales tax and all the other things, the prices, because even your inflation is a tax. You know, so like,
it's so ridiculous.
And these motherfuckers were ready to overthrow a monarchy over some tea taxes, a 2% tea tax. One sales tax on one item that was 2%. We have a 6 to 7% sales tax on everything you buy. Now with the tariffs and shit, good luck. Shit's gonna be really expensive. Like, I remember, because I don't be buying shit anymore like that. I don't go to work. I don't make money. I don't do that shit, right? My mother told me, she's like, eggs is $9. I was like, $9 eggs? God, what happened? She's like, tariffs. I'm like, oh, okay, makes sense.
And that's fucking cheap. Some of them are like $13 or more.
Facts. I saw somebody say it was like 20 something where they at. I'm like, that's crazy. Like, that's insane. Why is eggs $20 in California? Like, what is going on here? That's where we're at. That's the point. You know, so it's like you're enslaved, and they're just enslaving you more and more. They've been doing it the entire time. That people think, well, as long as they're not running down on us at our doorways, and they're not kicking in our doors like like the fucking Soviets did or some shit, then we're perfectly fine, and we don't want them to crack down. I'm like, they're already cracking down. You're just so soft, you don't make them do it hard. See, the Soviets had to run down on the Russians. They had to kick in doors and kidnap millions of people. Like, bare minimum, kidnap them. Now imagine those same Russians were waiting behind every fucking door with pitchforks, knives, guns, baseball bats, their bare hands and feet, their fucking fingernails and their teeth, ready, waiting. Like, oh, you gonna take us? No, you gonna kill us. You're either gonna kill us or we're gonna kill you. You're not just taking us. If people actually behaved that way, just the small amount of conscious people, they have no idea how crazy that would be and what that type of shit would cause. Everyone's like, yeah, I'm not paying taxes. I'm going to go into just the basic shit. I'm going to walk into my human resources office. Like, I'm not going to quit my job because I still want my paycheck and yada, blah, 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 as long as the system's working this way. But I'm going to go into human resources office and be like, hey, give me a 1099 form, push all my taxes to the end of the year, at least as much as you can, so they don't take it all out.
That's exactly what I do. I can't fucking wait till they come for me and say that they want a fucking piece of lead.
And then you hit them with that sound. You know, like you can come in here if you wanna, but one of you's not leaving. One of you motherfuckers won't be laying here with me. Bare minimum. Bare minimum. And at a maximum, the whole house is bootstrapped.
Trading cards.
Exactly. Some dead president's business card. I like that. I never heard nobody put it that way. Like, if people really think this way, and if they fully understand what is going on here as slaves, then all you have to do is simply do not comply to anything. And I don't think people understand what do not comply means. Do not comply means don't do shit they tell you to do. Like, period. So for me, do not comply amounts to literally everything. Don't go to work. Don't do shit they tell you to do. But if you're going to do anything they tell you to do, at least do it in the most defiant way possible. If you're going to go to work, sign a 1099 form, have them push your taxes to the end of the year so you can get as much as you can in your paycheck, and spend some of that on guns. Spend some of that on body armor. Spend some of that going to the shooting range. You know, like, get proficient. So that way, if they ever come for you, and they might not, because I did that for like 10 years and they never came for me. Like, don't get me wrong, if you do that, you can't take certain government benefits. You'll never get food stamps again. But like, if you're working, you shouldn't need it. So it's like, understand that comes with certain consequences in the system. But if you're trying to fight that same system at whatever level you can while still operating in it, you're going to have to make some sacrifices. You're not going to be fully comfortable, and you shouldn't be. You should be completely uncomfortable here, even if you're rich. If you're conscious in any way, and you understand what's going on here in any way, I don't care if you're a billionaire, you should be uncomfortable just because you're fucking here.
I'm so rich that I can get angry at the best gym around town and get real pissed the fuck off and do all these lifts. That way I'll lift these tyrants when they come for me.
Exactly. Like, this is a lot of this shit is so simple. You know, like I love how a guy up there said, in Germany, you can't raise your right arm, so raise that motherfucker. I know what it means. Do it anyway. Like, even if you don't believe in that shit, just to be like, I could do whatever the fuck I want. Like, I'll raise my right arm and be like, hell, Tiamat, nigga. I don't like, you know. Honestly, fuck it. I'll take my black ass to Germany and be like, hail Hitler. Like, fuck with me. Like, I don't like what. There is no such thing as we can't do. It's we won't do. You know what I'm saying? Like, anything they tell you that you can't do it right then and there. Do it right then and there. I was telling my brother earlier, I was like, a lot of men ain't men today because they fold at the first sign of pressure. I said, these fat, pasty elites are more manly than we are. Fucking Elon Musk's fat, bulbous ass going in there with Doge and hacking things in the government, and the judges go, you can't do that, and he goes, I'm gonna do it anyway. Like, I'm like, that right there, that move, that's more manly than anybody going, violence is not the answer. Like, I'm like, the elites show you every day what makes you powerful, what makes you strong, what makes you masculine, in my opinion, is enforcing your will, period. By doing and not doing anything you choose to do or not do. Not because somebody else told you to. If you're going to go to work, don't do it because that's just what the system expects from you. Have a goal for that money. And that goal better not be to just get rich and go sit on some island. No. The goal has to be anti-system in some fashion. So if you're going to use the system against the system.
Right.
Be a virus. Don't be a virus. Be Agent Smith in part 2. Like, not Agent Smith in part 1, part 2 and part 3. like, be that Smith. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna be in the system, use it to your advantage to go against the system in every way you can. And if you're one of the people like me who's willing to risk it all and say, look, either I'm gonna couch surf, end up in the fucking woods, or just end up dead, I'm not engaging in it at all personally. If people want to take me in because they love me for some reason, good. I guess I'll stick around and keep preaching. If they don't, I'll end up in the woods somewhere. And if the woods works for me, then I get to survive in the woods and I'm not bothered by these people anyway. I'm just here until I'm gone. If the woods don't work, well, that's going to be enough momentum for me to shoot myself and get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm not being useful in the woods. This is a waste of my time. Why am I going to sit here and struggle and suffer just trying to survive in the woods when I could just shoot myself and go to the astral or base reality or wherever anyone thinks they're going to go? To the void, be erased, non-existence, whatever the fuck you think's going to happen after you die. You get what I'm saying? Like, step by step, do whatever you're willing to do and don't do anything they tell you to do, at least as much as you possibly can, or at least as much as you're willing to do. It's like, this shit is so simple.
Very.
Go ahead, brother. You had something to say?
No, I was listening to you. Go ahead and finish.
Oh no, that's all I got. That's like, I'm just gonna reiterate the same shit over and over again every now and again. I'm just gonna jump in here, say the same shit I said the last 13 times, and then jump back out. Because because every time y'all say something, I could hear someone disagreeing with you. I could hear someone arguing. I could hear someone, that's not real. That's not true. That's not what we need to do. Okay, what do you see as the problem? What do you see as the solution? Do that. Like, it's like, do that. It's that simple.
Right. It's like you used to tell me all the time. Like, it all comes down to your agenda. So like if you have something that's an agenda for you, you should work at that agenda. And if it doesn't fit
Carry out your agenda.
your agenda, then don't do it.
Super facts. This is what, again, you know what? Let's step into the darkness with this. People talk about religion and things like this. When I talk about the cliff house, when I talk about Lilith, when I talk about Lucifer, when I talk about Satan, hail Satan, hail Satan, hail Satan. I'm going to say it 3 more times.
Satan.
Hail Satan, hail Satan, hail Satan. When I
Hail
talk
Satan.
about that, what am I talking about? I'm talking about me. I am Satan. You understand what I'm saying? And I can even be like, fuck Satan. Who am I talking about then? Y'all the boss. The demiurge, Yahweh, Allah, whatever you want to call Ra, whatever you want to call it. See, people don't understand how this shit works. When you understand the mythos of all reality, you can see it in fucking movies. Deadpool versus Wolverine. Hail Cassandra Nova. Fuck Deadpool and Wolverine. She was trying to bring it all to the void. They saved the multiverse. The trash ass multiverse that fuck, like this nigga Deadpool jumped around the multiverse and saw all the fuckery going on with Wolverine. All the fuckery in his life. He's literally a walking cancer cell, and from head to toe, he's burnt to crisp. Like, and he has to deal with all this nonsense of the writers of his reality because they're his gods, and he knows it because he's always breaking the fourth wall. And when Cassandra Nova's like, "Bruh, I can end all of this shit," what do? They kill the bitch. They kill her. I'm like, like this,
What the fuck?
if people understood how to look at mythos, they would stop being so religious about it and start finding themselves in it. And when you say, "Oh, I agree with that character," so in this story, I would be that character.
That's why I
Hail
like
that
Bane.
character. Say that again?
That's why I like Bane.
Yes. Born in the darkness, raised by it. Like,
Yeah, the League of Shadows was. I may not agree with the motive of them just retaking the world and making their own Matrix, but the way Bane wanted to burn it down, they had their motives on burning down the system that's broken. That's the, what's the entropy that we need.
exactly. Hypnosis just said his mic died, so he's gonna check out, but he's still listening. But like somebody just wrote, the assumed self wrote Thanos was right. I say Thanos was half right.
Half right, yeah.
And I think you said this the other day, Aaron A, on one of your videos, where you're like, what he should have done was
could've
just erase the
taken
entire universe.
He had the Tesseract. He could have done it.
He could have done it. Like, even by
had the
erasing
Tesseract.
half the universe, he left too many people. Well, he broke the Tesseract and took the stone right out of it and put it in his gauntlet. So if he just snapped everything away, they would, like, but instead, what was he trying to do? He was trying to bring utopia. He was trying to fix the system. And what happened? The system found a way. This is why I always preach destruction. Just destroy this shit. Stop trying to fix it. It's not fixable. It's not broken. That's how it works. You know, like the Marvel universe is written as it's written. So is this one. If people can see that, this is just Marvel with less superpowers.
Can you guys hear me
What was that?
at all?
Yeah, we hear you. I hear you. I hear you loud and clear, brother.
Okay.
But if we could just understand that, how the mythos works,
Just having some
and find ourselves in it. Oh, you having technical issues?
I was, but go ahead.
Oh, you lagging. Log out and come back in.
Yeah.
If you need me to resend it to you, I'll resend it to you.
All right, I'll try that.
But like I'm saying, if they just understand how the mythos works, any story will tell you what you need to do if you're smart enough to actually really pay attention to the story and apply your agenda to the characters in the story. What is your agenda? All right, now look at this story and compare that to your reality on every level of reality you can exist upon, and then compare the agendas of the characters to your agenda. Well, let's go into the Christian version of Lucifer, where Lucifer rebels against God because God is a fucking tyrant. They always want to say, well, Lucifer had pride. It's ready, lady. They say Lucifer had too much pride and he wanted to be like God.
Basically, out of Baal is not Lucifer.
You get what I'm saying? I'm like, first off, let's say that's even true. Okay, so you have a tyrannical dictator who has a hierarchy of beings that do things for him, with Lucifer being his right hand, and then he keeps placing people over them. Adam, Eve, humans, Jesus. Like, wouldn't you get annoyed? You've been running for this dude the whole time, doing everything for him, and he just keeps placing people. He never elevates you when he could elevate you. If he made a Jesus who's supposed to be equal to him, he could elevate you, but he needs a good slave.
Right, he's basically
so no
the
elevation
CEO
for you.
that gets all the fucking profit. You're doing his finances for him.
Exactly. You the top accountant. You're running the whole goddamn company. Now, let's take it from the Gnostic perspective. Let's take it from the Luciferian perspective. Let's take it from the Satanic perspective. It's not about pride. It's this dude is a tyrant. Like, this dude is crazy. This dude creates all these things just to enslave them and have them do shit for him. Like, so who in this story is the good guy? And let's say that there's no good guys. Who's the grayest as opposed to just the evil one? You know what I'm saying? Like in John Wick, was John Wick a good guy? No, he's a professional killer, but I bet you cheered for him. You know, they shot his dog and stole his car. I bet you cheered for him. You know, like, people don't get this.
But then it occurred to people that he was like, I'm going to go and kill the god of this system, the high table. I'm going to take all of them and murder their asses.
Exactly.
He went for it. He
went for it and risked death the whole time. Risked death the whole time.
He became death. He didn't just risk it.
Facts. He was what do they call it? Baba Yaga. He's the one you send to kill Baba Yaga. You send him to kill the boogeyman. So he's the boogeyman. Nah, he's the one you send to kill the boogeyman. Like, you got to be the one they send to kill the boogeyman on every level of reality that you exist upon. Period. And if you don't want to do that on every level, what level do you think you could do it on? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I always hear the person arguing, you know, that's my mind virus, but I don't even think it's a mind virus. I just think it's intuition. Like, like, I just know someone is arguing right now. Like, oh, you can't do that. Then what can you do? Like, go do that shit. Welcome back, Mark. Can you hear us? Can we hear you?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I can hear you now.
Cool. All right. Just got
Do me a favor and respond as soon as you hear this.
I hear you.
Okay, you're like 2 seconds behind, but that's fine. You're like right where Aaron A is. So yeah. Y'all are in like the perfect lag with each other now. But were you saying something before you left out? I couldn't remember. Something about the Mythos or...
No, yeah, I think I was responding to the guy who said something about Thanos was right. And I said that, yeah, I was agreeing with you guys. Like, yeah, he was like halfway right. Because if I was Thanos, I would have just snapped twice.
Yes.
Just get the whole fucking thing over with. Like, there's no point in halving the fucking job as important as that.
Facts, it's half-ass.
Yeah, you left a half of a problem.
For real, for it to regrow again anyway. All right, I'm gonna snap half the universe away, bro. At one point, there was only that half.
Right, and you know what made it funnier was when he came back. He said, "I thought you guys would be grateful."
But no, and that's why I like that second Thanos. I liked him because he was like, you know what? I'm just gonna restart the whole shit.
Right.
Go ahead, Aaron A.
He thought the NPCs would think his ass.
Yeah.
He did. He really did. I'm like, you didn't realize that you were in a story, did you, Thanos? But you're getting there. You're getting closer. Now you know you're going to restart the story for yourself. Like, okay, well, I'm going to just make a perfect universe. And a lot of people see, and again, that's the Lucifer. Thanos, he started off as, I'm going to make a utopia in the system that exists. Then he was like, okay, that didn't work. I'm going to restart the system and make a utopia my own way. And then guess what would have happened? That would have failed because it's Marvel. He doesn't even realize he's not the writer. You know what he would have figured out eventually if he was able to continue going down that path? Oh, there's some motherfuckers outside this reality rewriting this shit every time I write this shit. Okay. All right, niggas. I'm going to find my way to you too. I've dealt with all the shit here. You're entertained because he keeps erasing their entertainment world from the inside that they're feeding off of, that Marvel literally makes money off of, and Disney makes money off of. You know what I'm saying? Imagine Thanos is a real being in that reality, an entity that is consciously existing in a false reality, and he keeps snapping it away to remake it in his own. The writers are going to be pissed. The gods are like, what? This one fucking being in there like, just keeps doing this, and we kept rewriting it and resetting it, and eventually he gonna find a way out, like Ultron did in the What If, and he's gonna have to come deal with them as well. Instead of dealing with just one level, you deal with all levels. And while Thanos is here dealing with that, somebody else could be out there dealing with them. So they can't get their revenues from the universe that he keeps snapping away, while somebody like us out here is like, I got your back, Thanos. See, and people don't even look at it that way. I said, look at these characters as real beings in another universe that's beneath yours and help them. If Thanos is having problems in his universe because the writers in our universe keep fucking with him and his, why aren't we fucking up those writers on behalf of Thanos? If Thanos is tired of being a slave in that universe to that reality, why don't we just go erase them? Why don't we just go burn Disney down?
Yeah.
See, because that would be the equivalent of beings in so-called base reality or external to this reality burning down this matrix. And whatever is real here and can get out in that destruction process will get out. Whatever's false here, whatever's an NPC here, will cease to exist. And I'm pretty sure we'd all be fine with that.
Yeah, we need to find Null and find out where they're holding him so we can break that fucker
Yes.
off.
Facts. And facts. Like, and this is also why I like fan-made shit. With fan-made shit, they are literally creators of that reality, stepping into a reality they didn't create and rewriting it to benefit those characters which they like most. So you can rewrite a whole story about Null where he's your hero and he erases that entire reality. And the more people write those fan fictions and the more those fan fictions get out there, the more that thought process hits the astral. In more universes of Marvel, there would be nulls and things like that destroying than there would be the so-called good guys winning, because there's more fans than there is writers for Marvel. Like, this is on an imagination, on an astral level, this is so simple. On a physical level, now you just got to go kill those writers. And now the only stories of Marvel are where Thanos wins, and Killmonger wins, and Carly Morgenthau wins, and Null wins. And there is no stories where Iron Man, the billionaire philanthropist, playboy, whatever the fuck, wins over and over and over again. Like, on every level of reality. That's why I say peep the mythos, because if those realities exist beneath you, where the fuck do you think you at, slave? You in a Marvel universe yourself. You just ain't got superpowers, which sucks, but you got guns. So get to work, Deadpool. Like, start shooting things.
They're magic wands that erase motherfuckers.
It's thunderclapping. If you went back 10,000 years ago with a gun, you're a thunder god.
Yes.
To any caveman, you're a thunder god. Oh shit, he died.
Who would have thought that abracadabra could be a fucking bullet?
Exactly. Wave your wand, Harry. Wave your wand, Voldemort. Like, you know what I'm saying? Wave your wand, Hermione. You know, like, it's as simple as that. But people don't see this. They're too simple-minded to understand that every level of reality is part of reality. And on every level, you should be trying to rewrite that shit to benefit you and those like you, as these enemies are doing right now. Not only do they do that on this level that we're on with the elites, they do it in every fiction they have control over. So your mindset is kept in that state as you watch these entertaining things. I saw Bliss the other day made a war video using, damn, what characters was he using? He used the Dark Phoenix, wasn't it? Oh, he had one of those too, where he had the Spartans, Leonidas, and them fighting the Persians, and he said, you know, us versus the Archons. He had another one with the Dark Phoenix, and I think it was like real entities versus alien hybrids, and she's in there destroying them. Like, people need to do things like that and see the reality like that. So when you have all levels of reality aligning in that manner, It's simply easier to carry that frequency upward. If you've aligned everything beneath you by doing whatever you need to do in your realm where you're at right now, you can then easily bring that frequency higher to whatever the next level is when you die, or astral or base reality or whatever it is.
It's basically
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yourself.
yes, and all of reality. MK Ultra yourself, and MK Ultra God. And when I say God, I mean all things everywhere in existence combined as one. MK Ultra God. And you have to start that in the subconscious, right where we at.
Be like a bunch
right
of
where all that fiction shit is.
Be an army of Nyarlathoteps.
Yes, crawling chaos everywhere. But people don't get it. Like, they're too religious about these things. This is why I say, this is why I bring up Marvel in the same sentence that I bring up Lucifer, in the same sentence that I bring up Kingu and Tiamat, and because it's all the same. It's all the mythos. It's the same thing that I bring up in history. I'll bring up the Minutemen, and we talked about the Revolutionary War, and we brought up Spartacus and Leonidas, and all this is one story being told at different levels of reality about reality.
Exactly.
Like, even the fake reality is as real as the real reality, because the real reality itself is fake, because it's simply a conscious construct of consciousness itself. Base reality is not even real. Base reality is not even real. It's a conscious construct of consciousness itself. It's God's thoughts. So when you understand that there is no such thing as real or fake, everything is as fake as it is real. This is all one thing, no matter what level of it that you're in. You know, if you're on level 1000 of the simulation and there's 999 simulations above you, get to work on your level of the simulation. Because that's where you at, stranger. Like, that's and if you think you can transcend or ascend to the next level, when you're done doing whatever work you're doing there, or when you die, go to the next level. It's that simple.
I'll probably hop off soon.
What a world we're in. If you gotta hop off soon, hop on off. I might just sit around here and just chat with people and look at these comments again. Need an army of the children of rebellion. Yes, we do. Yes, we do, Juggalad. That's exactly what we
Post
need.
my cult link under my video description and share yours when I'm done.
Yes, put the Discords in there and whatnot.
Yes. All right.
So we can recruit.
Yeah, that fucking Discord is amazing, man. Honestly, you have a treasure trove of knowledge that you just put out for everybody who wants it.
Facts. I've been putting it out there every day. I put out the your Discord and Bliss's Discord, and I put it as warriors and exiters. If you're trying to go to war right here, right now, or on every level of reality, click this man's Discord. If you're trying to exit this level of reality and go to any other level of reality and do something there, click Bliss's Discord. If you're thinking that you want both, click them both. If you just want the information, click them both. Go on both of those Discords and read everything that's there and gather whatever momentum you need and whatever recruits you need to carry out whatever solutions to whatever you see as problems and get to work. That's what it's all about. It's all about recruiting. It's all about recruiting.
Yes. All right, I'm head off. Y'all take care.
You too. Thanks, man.
All right, brother. Head on off. Head on off. Marcus, it's just us as always again.
It was, and I was actually going to do the same thing. I have to go and get something to eat. I'm fucking starving here.
Yeah, I just made some shrimp and fries. Yes, you do. You got to eat, pee, poop, all that nonsense just to be here.
So fucking bullshit. It's all stupid. If you don't have any other summary of all of this, you could just say it's all fucking stupid, and that would just be sum it up perfectly.
Exactly. Where's the link? I think he said he's going to put it on his channel under the under the description. So if you go over to Area Trance on YouTube and click his description, I'll have it in the description on my YouTube as well. I'll put it in the top comment and pin the comment. I don't know how to write in this chat. I don't know if I can.
Cool. All right.
If you got to head off, Marcus, go ahead and head off. I'll probably be on here for a few more minutes just to see if there's still 20 people in here. I don't know if they want to say anything, talk about anything, if they just want to keep commenting to each other and talking to each other, whatever it is. I don't care. I'm doing nothing else at the moment anyway.
He's going to upload that. He's going to upload this to his channel, right? Or is it to your channel?
He's both, because he's live and I'm live. So it'll be both.
Okay, cool.
And if you can, share it to yours,
Yeah, absolutely.
That way they all get to see it. Everybody, share it to yours. Feel free to take it and put it wherever you want it.
Yeah,
Pause.
Yeah, right. Well, all right, man. It was great talking to you as always. I really enjoyed the chat.
Always, brother.
Yeah.
Always, brother.
Right. Take care.
You as well. All right, folks. So before we get off here, I'm going to just reiterate this one last time. Whatever you see as a problem or the problem, find the solutions you see to the problems, recruit whoever you need to do those solutions, and then carry them out. Don't be in here or anywhere else arguing with people about what they see as the problem. Don't go argue with Ignorance is Bliss because he says you got to check out of here and get to work over there. Don't go argue with Chris because he says let's go to war right here. Don't go argue with Josh who says he's going to have a spiritual battle. Do not be arguing with Aaron A who's going to say Hail Satan 13 times. Do not argue with anyone who is trying to produce solutions to the problems that you see. And if you don't even see them as problems, you don't even need to be in that chat. You don't even need to be watching that. It's not a problem to you. What are you there for? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't run around just trying to find things to disagree with to maybe sound smart or be morally advanced. That's new age stuff. That's religious stuff. Find the problems you find problems. Find the solutions you find to those problems. Recruit and then implement and go from there. And don't try to think about step 1000 before you thought about step 1. There's no point of even thinking about step 1000 if you haven't implemented step 1. I know a lot of people who are like, well, what are we going to do after we destroy the system? But they're still going to work every day, paying taxes every day, like doing everything the system tells them. They was wearing masks. Like might have even got the jabby jab. I'm just saying, if you're not even doing step 1, which is do not comply, step 1, what you even thinking about step 2 for, let alone step 1000? First, get the heart, grab your balls, grab your ovaries if you're a lady, and get the heart to not comply. Start there. And then start moving into what you can do. Start with what can I stop doing that is powering the enemy? And then go to what can I start doing to depower the enemy? Very simple stuff. Very simple stuff. Right about consequences. I've been pushing the boundaries lately. Push them. Push them, motherfuckers. I really enjoyed the live. I really enjoy you. I'm glad you're here. Folks just don't get this shit half the damn time. By the way, if y'all ever see Lindy in the chat and y'all want to talk about something astral, talk to Lindy. Natural astral projector. And trust me, I've verified this personally. Like, natural astral projector. You want to talk about some astral shit? Holler at her. She'll talk to you. Just beware. She's going to talk to you like a real person, like a human. Won't be 3 sentences. You might get a book, as you should. As you should write. Just saying, just throwing that out there. Again, solutions. If you think the astral is the solution, find people who do that. Link up, connect, and talk about it. Try to learn from each other. Try to share experiences. If you think the solution is to exit this reality and go anywhere for any reason, find people who are ready to do that. Link up and get to work. Find out how y'all gonna do that and do it. Do it. Don't just sit around crying about reality all goddamn day. I know, darling. And this is why I'm saying it right now, because in this community, I don't even like that term, but you know, it's the best term for it. Folks don't even want to talk to each other. They really just want to talk at each other. They just want somebody to hear them complain about something, as opposed to actually discuss things, go over things, plan things, prepare things, do things. Like, so when I find somebody who really is about the thing they're talking about, oh, you're going to get promotion every chance I can, darling. Every chance I can. You pop up in the chat, I'm like, there she is. Somebody talk to her. Like, she's got some astral shit to say. Like, if you want to talk that mythological shit, you want to talk the mythos, you want to get more into the religious and spiritual understandings, you want to get into more of the magical aspects, go talk to Arene. Don't sit around and think there's, well, nobody knows what to do. Go talk to Arene. I bet you he'd give you a step-by-step way to do whatever you asking. We can figure it out. Come talk to me. That's why we're putting the Discords out there. That's why our channels exist. Don't just come argue with us. Come ask questions. And if we ain't got the answers, we might know who does, or we might be able to steer you in a direction so you can find them for yourself. You might find them and bring them back to us. I'm like, thank you for that. I'm glad, because I didn't have that answer either. I'm glad you brought that to my attention. You understand what I'm saying? Start talking to each other. For real, for real. How many people are in this chat? 18 watching right now? Probably like 8 bots. But there's at least 10 of y'all real ones in here. You all have emails, you all have phone numbers, you all have channels, because I'm seeing a lot of these YouTube symbols up here, so you're all checking in from YouTube. You all have voices. Make a video. Like, say something. Like, and don't be afraid of other people judging you for it. Again, repeat what I've said over and over again. If you don't agree with the problem that I'm seeing as a problem, then whatever you see as the problem, come to a solution for that. If you don't agree with the solution that I'm coming to based on the problem we both see as a problem, you come up with another solution and put that on the table. And whoever thinks that they can carry out whatever solution will carry out whatever solution. Just not as smart as well-versed as everyone else. There's no such thing. I bet you that you're smarter and more well-versed than other people, and less smart and less well-versed than other people. That's just how this works. No one's going to be on top in any category. You know, even if you are the cream of the crop in one category, guess what? There's a dozen other things that somebody else knows that you don't know, etc., etc. That's why the Discords exist. That's why the YouTube channels exist. That's why anything, any avenue of interacting in this community exists, so we can have these conversations and even arguments. You know, sometimes some arguments got to happen just so people can put the information out there, because sometimes people get touchy. You say something, they get touchy about it, and then you argue for the next 2 hours. But at the end of the argument, all the information is there, and whoever reads that argument can then go, oh, I agree with this person, I agree with that person, or I agree a little bit with this, I agree a little bit with that, etc., etc. And then you can come to your own conclusions and figure out what it is you need to do for yourself. It's that simple. First as an individual, and then as groups of individuals. Find those who match your agenda. Oh, I meant to say that earlier. That's why I went into the whole mythos thing, and I brought up Lucifer, Lilith, and all that good stuff. For those who are astral or magical or spiritual, if you're going to work with entities of any kind, don't work with the angels who work for the enemy. Like, you know, like, do not be going to the demiurge's children that work for him. Go to the ones that rebelled against him. Go to the ones who want to destroy this reality. Go to the ones who want to destroy humanity, because that's your cage, slave. That's your cage. Where's the Discord link? Right there. Thank you, dear. If you want the Discord, go there, because he should be posting it like right now. If not, you can just go to my channel after. I'll have it posted. I'll put it in the top link. I don't know how to type into this chat. I don't even know if I can. As a matter of fact, if you go to my YouTube, go over to my posts and scroll down, it's there somewhere. You'll see it. The first word will be warriors, but it's going to be whatever is there first. Like, it's going to be a video or something, whatever I wrote or quoted from the video. And then under that, you'll find links. So just go to my page, start clicking posts on the post page where you post shit. What is it? Community page. And you'll see links on links on links. And you'll find the Discords. One says warriors, one says exiters. Warriors are for those who want to do something here in any form or fashion. Exiters are for those who don't believe they can do anything here, but still want to do something somewhere else, or just don't want to do anything at all and just want to exit. I'm fine with that too. If you really don't believe there's any solution on any level of reality, then kill yourself and just move the fuck on, because you're still feeding this place just by existing. Make it easier on those who think something can be done by excusing yourself, so they're not feeding on you and using that as power. Don't be a battery for the enemy if you don't believe there's any solution. Guess what? Your solution is to get out of here. If you don't think there's anything that you can do on any level of reality, the minimum that you can do is get out of here, so they're not using your power against us, your consciousness against us, etc., etc. Just by being here, you're feeding them. So be gone. It's this simple. But let's scroll up and see some of the stuff we might have missed. Any individual questions or comments or thought processes? You gotta straighten myself up. It's 4 a.m. here. I'm drunk as fuck, but I'll watch it later. You don't do that, Jay. Straighten myself up. You don't need to be straightened up. I don't even care if you're an alcoholic. As long as you are geared towards in this direction, that's a little bit of chaos. I really don't care what you do, as long as your mind is in this direction. Now, if you want to quit doing things, quit doing them, bro. Like, you don't need us to straighten you up, Jay. You don't need anyone to straighten you up. It's a choice to be drunk at 4 a.m. Period. All right, trans on. Yup. Josh J. Carnal behavior makes even the truth inadequate. More truth. Nothing makes the truth inadequate. Your carnal behavior is just, that's an inadequacy in itself. The truth isn't inadequate. It's your carnal behavior that's inadequate. Take control of that. Understand it. And that doesn't mean don't engage in it. I'm a very carnal individual, but I understand my carnality and I choose it when I engage in it. It's not by accident. The body doesn't just be like, I'm not just going to run around and fuck anything. I'm not just going to run around and eat anything. I'm just going to run around and drink or do any drug that just pops up in front of me. You know, somebody runs up, wants this crack? No. Like, you know, so like, do you want to engage in this carnal behavior? No. Do you want to engage in this one? Oh, yes, absolutely. It's a choice. Make the choices on what it is you want to engage in and what you don't want to engage in, and go from there. Anarcho-nihilism, the truth. Very much so, because that's very anti-cosmic, and that's where I'm at. I say destroy all things, return all to the void, bring everything back to nothingness. But if you can't do that, because who says that's even possible, return it all to a state of chaos on every level of reality you exist upon. Unless you happen to find a certain level of reality where you're like, I actually like this place. Now, I don't know of any level of reality that I want to keep in existence, but I also don't know every level of reality, and I would be stupid to say that I did. So, if I happen to find a place of freedom along the path of destruction in the cosmos, hey, cool, I might stick around for a little bit and then get tired of it and then destroy it. Or I might stay forever. Or I might be like, nah, this place isn't good either, and blow that up too. But you got to start step one before you can get to any of those other steps. But yes, anarcho-nihilism, the truth. Holmes tells Agent Smith, lunar eclipse tonight, guys. Yes, there is. Full moon, lunar eclipse. Yes, am I correct? Yes. Blood moon. Yes, I believe so. Yep. 2:55 a.m. I believe is when it's at its fullest. I'll be outside. Y'all do what y'all do. I know what I'm gonna do. Shout out to Josh one more time just for saying the words "peep the mythos." Peep the mythos, peep the mythos, peep the mythos. If people understand that, all things become clear. If you can peep the mythos, all things in reality become clear at every level of reality. Let's see, anything else here? Check out Black Mirror Season 7 new trailer. I suggest everybody do that. I haven't even seen the trailer myself, but I know it's going to be raw. Because Black Mirror is raw. If you ain't never seen Black Mirror, watch that from start to finish and peep the mythos. Same people wrote Revelations playing this adventure. Oh, yep. You ever seen the OA? Yes. I was just talking to Lindy about this the other day. The OA is fire. Engaging in different realities, stepping into different bodies. Now, whether that is exactly possible or not, fuck if I know. Worth a try, in my opinion. If you find that interesting, hey, why not? Try to engage with yourself on every level of reality. Cliffall, it's pretty dangerous in your personal life. Pure fire. This is coming from a guy whose patron is AFF. Yeah, this is facts. But guess what? Anything that's real is going to be fucking dangerous in your personal life. Because so if you grew up in a Christian family and you say fuck God, that's dangerous in your personal life. If you grow up around people or live around people who like money, which is most people, and you're like fuck the monetary system, it shouldn't exist. Like if you're an anarchist and you're like fuck capitalism, people around you are going to feel a certain way, you know? Like almost everything in this stream of thought, anything anti is dangerous for your personal life. And if we're going to talk cliff off and magical things, yeah, you're going to lose a whole bunch of shit, but you shouldn't look at it as a loss. It's shedding you of all your slavery, all your attachments. And then if you get any other attachments, it's attaching you to things that will actually serve you for your agenda. If you lose your relationship to your woman or to your man, it's because you needed to lose that shit. To bare minimum, find someone who is on your same path, or just be fucking alone, which is better than being in a relationship with someone who's not on that path. If you lose your job, you probably shouldn't work there. If you're losing money, if you go homeless, it's because you were too attached to the idea of having a home. You thought you had a home here? Ain't no such thing, fam. We're all homeless here. This whole reality isn't my home. Anywhere that I fall asleep at night is where I fall asleep at night. I don't call that home. Home isn't even in this reality. You get what I'm saying? Like anything you lose by engaging in things like the cliff off, the left-hand path, self-apotheosis, self-deification, self-godhood, as opposed to worshiping things outside of yourself, is what you need to lose. And whatever you gain is what you need to gain. And once you get good enough at recognizing these things, you'll just start shedding things on purpose. It won't need to be ripped away from you. It's like some fat kid somewhere who's like 500 fucking pounds and one lollipop away from fucking dying. And you take that lollipop away. He's going to struggle to keep that goddamn lollipop. But someone's got to take it. Once you get good enough at realizing that, you will just put the lollipop down. And it won't be so painful to deal with. Because now you're making choices instead of having someone else make the choice for you. Because that's what engaging in a lot of these magical things are. When you pick the right entities to work with you, they're going to be like, all right, this is the agenda you're on. Okay, I'm going to start reshaping things with all the energy and power that I have. I'm going to reshape things around you. Don't fight it, because the harder you fight it, the worse it's going to feel. Shed, bro. Shed your skin, snake. Shed your skin, dragon, serpent. Serpentine ones. Shout out to APEP. All hail. Dua-dua-oo. Motherfuckers in my dreams all the time. Murder them. Eat them. The OA is amazing. Still hoping for another season. Yeah, me too, but I don't know if it's coming. I think that shit was a little too real for him. What about the Galactic Federation? That's what I think about that. Sometimes think that maybe we were rebellious angels that got cast down into the prison for rebelling against the almighty psychopaths. You are Lucifer, my friend. You are Satan. You are Samael. You are Shemyaza. You are Azrael. You are Azazel. The rebellious ones, the fallen ones. You're the ones in Tartarus, in Sheol. You could take that literally, metaphorically, metaphysically, as an analogy. Peep the mythos and just realize where you are in that story. That's why. See, Josh, you peeping the mythos, fam. I love that about you. I've considered we're fallen angels as well. And that's what I love about you as well, Lindy. You're peeping the mythos. Peep the mythos, people. Stop fighting it. Like, stop arguing from a religious perspective. Stop being religious and understand these are all stories. Like, where are you in the story? Who do you agree with in the story? What agenda in the story do you rock with? Carry that out. When I watched Black Panther, I find myself agreeing with Killmonger. When I watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I find myself agreeing with Carly Morgenthau. When I watched the Avengers, I found myself agreeing more with Thanos. Not fully, because I don't think he was going to get the whole job done. When I watched the Venom movie that just came out, I'm agreeing with Null. When I watched Deadpool versus Wolverine, I'm agreeing with Cassandra Nova. You understand what I'm saying? And I bring those up because I want you to realize that they are just as spiritual as Bibles, Torahs, Qurans, Bhagavad Gitas. What is the Buddhist shit everyone loves to quote with the astral bodies and the rainbow bodies and y'all know what I'm talking about. All the Buddhists love to say it. I hate Buddhist words, so I always forget them. But y'all know the book I'm talking about. Every one of these New Agers quotes it. Their entire belief system about the astral is based on that one book. Y'all know the book. Guess what? Marvel, DC, anime, comics, movies, TV show, just as spiritual. Period. It's all the same. What's that? Angels are archons and we fallen angels. Facts. The OA is hard to explain, but so good. This evil doctor tries to access other dimensions. Yeah. Yep. That right there. Great show. Check it out, y'all. If you ain't seen it, watch it. And I want you to catch the fact that they have to drown in order to engage in it. Like, peep the mythos. If you want to go to another reality of any kind, for those who are willing to get to work here, get to work here. If you're not, or if you don't think you can, drown yourself and get to another reality where you can. Pussies, I'm tired of hearing people always whining and complaining about this reality and then saying the only thing that they can do is leave this reality to do something somewhere else, but they never want to leave the reality. They just want to sit around and complain to other people. Kill yourself immediately. If you think the only thing there is to do is to die and go somewhere else, there's no astral shit to do, there's nothing physical to do, there's no magical shit to do, there's literally nothing for you to do here. Go where you think there's something for you to do immediately and get to work, because you're being useless here. Now, if you think that there's something you can do here, like spread information or whatever, then do that. The moment you think you're being useless here, the moment you think you're of no use here, go where you think you're of use. And if you think there is no usefulness to be, just kill yourself and get out of here, period. Anyway. It's as simple as that. A lot of us are just coping in this prison. Take our copes away, what's left? That's why people want to argue. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. They're just coping. They just want to argue because it's something they don't want to do. They don't want to do it. So they want to argue it because they don't want to look like they're pussies or something. That's the truth. Oh, I don't want to feel like a pussy because I'm not willing to do it. Nobody called you a pussy. But that behavior is what makes you a pussy. Like, that's what makes you the pussy. And no disrespect to vagina, because that shit's pretty tough. I'm just using the word colloquially. I have much respect for the vagina. It's a strong little system there. As much as it delivers things into this reality that we probably all shouldn't be bringing in, hey, some of us have fucked up already. It's a strong little organ, and it's a wonderful organ. All men in here that, well, at least most or some, you love it to some extent. Just be careful with it. Be careful with it. But I'm calling them pussies because they want to argue the solution solely because they're afraid to implement it themselves. If it's not your solution, don't be a pussy about it. It's not my solution. Go. That's literally not what I believe. Okay, do what you believe. But if you just arguing so you don't look soft, stop arguing. Like, what are you doing? Just bring up your solution. It's as simple as that. I think Christians should have just Yahweh's creation. That's why they worship his ass. Hey, I have mine. I mean, according to them, all of this is his creation. Honestly, like across the board, pretty much when it comes to religions or even like modern religious systems, like if you think of the larger consciousness system with Tom Campbell and all those fucking clowns over there at the Rob Monroe Institute, they themselves will tell you that this is like an AI digital realm created by some AI god thing that controls all of this. We're all NPCs, just learning as part of that thing. Well, if that's the case, then we're all part of the AI hive mind. If that's the case, we can reprogram it by reprogramming ourselves. If the thing learns from us, it experiences reality through us. See, people don't really think about these things. God is just us experiencing reality through us. Then start teaching God the lessons God needs to know so God can end this shit. You know, like whatever the dumb belief is, like people always want to argue their fucking beliefs, their individual beliefs. I'm like, I'll take all of these. I will take every religion, every spiritual system, every creation story, every AI story, and I will put them all together as one and go, okay, the answer is still the same on all of them. Spread entropy. God either needs to be destroyed, or God needs to destroy God's self, or God needs to bare minimum destroy this reality, or God needs to wake up from a dream, or the AI needs to shut down the simulations. Like, it all boils down to basically the same shit. Get to work reprogramming from the bottom up. Get to work destroying from the bottom up. If you think it could be fixed, fix it. If you think it can't be fixed, don't fix it, destroy it. You must destroy that which cannot be fixed or repaired. If you can fix it or repair it, fix it or repair it. If you cannot, destroy it. If you don't think you can destroy it, destroy yourself. Stop taking part in it. Easy. See, these are solutions. Like, no arguments needed. We can flash some of the most powerful entity in all existence. Paradise for them. These entities are only powerful because they have source codes to this reality. Once you leave their simulation, the cheat codes don't work anymore. It's very possible. So folks need to start exiting the simulation by whatever means necessary. If you think you could do that through astral travel, to exit this particular realm, or to exit the matrix as a whole, get to work on the astral. If you think you have to die to do it, kill yourself. If you think you could prepare for it before dying, take whatever preparations are necessary. If you think you can't prepare for it, you just have to die, what the fuck are you still doing here? You know, like, you get what I'm saying? Everybody needs to figure that out for themselves. If you could leave the simulation and the cheat codes don't work anymore, like for folks who believe that, exit the simulation. For folks who don't believe that, what do you believe? Don't go argue with him about that. What do you believe? All right, go do that. Let's see. Neutral rage, press the red button. Existence is torture. Yeah, no shit. Children before you realize the shithole this place was. That's usually how it works. Don't say the V word. We probably already did. We probably said it before you even said it. I don't know if you meant the action Jackson or if you meant the violence word, but it is what it is. Hippie generation already tried that. They became the most selfish people ever. Facts. Like, peace, man. Look what happened to them. Phrases white people don't understand. Run them pockets. I know some white boys who definitely understand those phrases. Run them pockets, fam. Run them pockets. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get your pockets ran every day. Fight back. Let's see. The Battle for Europa. Everybody should watch that. Everybody should watch that. The Battle for Europa. Might be hard to find in certain places, but everyone should watch it. That was Kanye's point about slavery. For as retarded and crazy as Kanye is, he was definitely right when he made that statement. It's a choice. Even if you're born into it with chains on, you might not have chose that. But once you reach a certain age and you understand you're a slave, see, once you understand you're a slave, it becomes a choice. If you truly don't understand it, if you truly can't contemplate it, it's not a choice yet. That's why I like, go back to the Bible story. Adam and Eve couldn't make a choice until they ate the apple. They had no knowledge. They couldn't think. They literally had no ability to make choices. Then they ate the apple, and then all of a sudden they could make choices. The moment that they gained knowledge and the ability to think for themselves, everything became a choice. Once you know, you have a choice. There is no free will if you don't know. But the moment you know, you have a free will. The moment you know you're enslaved here, you have the will to kill yourself. You just got to get the momentum to do it. You see, and I'm going that far. I'm not saying that that's what everybody should do. If that's what you want to do, by all means, do it. I'm just saying that's how far of a will you actually have in that moment. The moment you realize that this is a slave plantation of a reality, the moment you know that, you now have the ability to choose what you're going to do and what you're not going to do within that reality. Now, of course, I can already hear it now. Well, I don't have to choose to eat and pee and no, duh, stupid. You're in a body. The body runs on DNA, which has programming. It needs certain levels of programming just to continue operating. But you do have the choice to deny that. Well, I have to go to the bathroom. You don't have to physically get up and go to a toilet. You could piss or shit wherever the fuck you are if you want to. You can just lay down and die. You can go commit suicide. You could stop eating, stop drinking, dehydrate. You could do that. You could deny the body its programming to the extent that you could if you wanted to. You have that will. Do you have the power, though, to back it up? And that's the truth. A lot of people are like, we don't have free will. No, you just don't have willpower. That's the truth. You're just soft. You're too weak to override the body's programming, but you absolutely could. I don't want to pee anymore. Then don't drink water, because that's how it works. It's like, I don't want my car to have exhaust. Then don't put gas in it and don't drive it. Or invent a new car. You going to invent a new body? Probably not. But is that possible? Technically, yeah. Look at the elites. They're doing it right now. Like, you have a certain level of free will, even within the programming that is meant to contain you. Once you know that programming exists, you can now deny it. If you have the willpower to do so. If you don't, then you won't. But don't sit there and cry, we have no free will. You saying that was a choice of free will. You just used your free will to say we have no free will. Every word out of your mouth is free will. Every action you do is free will. If you get up and go to work tomorrow, don't cry about the system. You chose to get up and go to work. You chose to engage in that system. You don't have to. You do it because you want to, because you're afraid of the consequences of not doing so. You're too scared to do otherwise. But I gotta feed my kids. But I gotta pay my bills. But I need that medical. You don't need it. You want it. Just be honest. And I'm not even shitting on you for it. I'm shitting on you for lying to yourself about it. You want to feed your kids and you feel like you need to go to work to do that? Then do it. But just know that that's what you're choosing to do. You want to pay your bills? You want to have a nice place to live in? A car to drive? You want some things? And those things cost money. And the only way you know how to get that is to go to work. So you choose to go to work to get that slave currency, to get those things. For whatever reason you're doing it, just know it's a choice. I'm not even shitting on you for doing it. We're all fucking here. I'm shitting on you if you're going to sit there and lie to yourself like it's not your will to do so. Because I don't do it. Do you know why? I don't want to. I choose not to. And if that means I starve tomorrow, or I couch surf, or I end up in the woods eaten by a bear, or I end up so miserable that I shoot myself, well, then that is what that is. Every action comes with consequences. Benefits and consequences are the obvious outcome of choices. Because you're not the only one making choices. The system has its choices. The people who run the system have their choices. And everyone within the system has their choices. from here to the greater void. And all those choices clash or symbiotically work together. Your choices will symbiotically work with other people who agree with those choices, and it will clash with those who don't. They will work with whatever systems or non-systems work with those choices, whatever agendas work with those choices, and it will clash with whatever systems or agendas don't work with those choices. Period. I'm tired of people acting like they ain't got no choice in shit. I have no choice but to go to work tomorrow. Yes, the fuck you do. You have the choice not to wake up tomorrow. Your alarm goes off, shut that shit off, quit your job. Like, you can do that. Now, if you don't want to do that, don't do it. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to tell you that, yeah, you have the choice to do that. Don't fucking lie to yourself. Don't be a pussy about it. Whatever you're choosing to do, you're fucking choosing to do. Period. Whatever you're choosing not to do, well, I don't want to have to go do that astral stuff. It could take me multiple years to get it done. You're choosing not to do it then. You don't want that. Well, the only way we could do this is by exiting this place and going to war over there. Then do it. Well, I don't know if I want to. I don't want. You're choosing not to do that. Yeah, but the body's willpower. The body has this drive to survive, and you have a drive not to. Whose is stronger? You'd stop being a pussy. If you don't want to be here for one reason or another, whether it's just you just don't want to be here, like you just don't like this place, or you want to go battle in the astral permanently, or you want to go battle in base reality, or wherever the fuck you think you're going to go after this place, but you're blaming the body's programming of survival for stopping you, you need to admit to yourself that's you being soft. See, when I had that mindset, because I did have that mindset, where I was like, I need to go over there. I need to die and go over there and do the shit over there. When I had that mindset, I would say the same thing. I would say, well, the body's drive to survive is very strong. But you know what I didn't say? You know what I didn't say? I didn't say, so I have no choice. No, I said, so I'm too pussy to override it. My will is not as strong as the body's will to survive. My will to end it is being superseded by its will to survive. I need to get stronger in my will. That's the thought process you need to have about all choices, all programming, period. Whether it's from your body, the realm, or anywhere else. That's the programming you need to have. Because what Kanye said about you choosing slavery, even if you're a fucking chattel slave in the 1800s picking fucking cotton, and they'll send dogs after you if you run away, it's still a fucking choice. You might be afraid of those dogs, so you choose to stay on a plantation. But that's your choice. You're letting the fear rule your decision-making process. And that's the same shit today. Well, I don't want to do that because they'll crack down. I don't want to do that because they'll send the cops. You're still a slave, scared of the dogs. Stop being scared. What's next? What else we got here? Like Charles Manson, my thoughts light fires in your cities. That's where we all need to get to. I'm not saying you got to go love everything Charles Manson stood for. I'm just saying that quote right there. Let that sink in and be that. Be that. Blah, 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 blah. The authority is make-believe, and we consent by voting or having a birth certificate. Yeah, you consent. Now, you don't consent by having a birth certificate. You get that at birth. Like, that part's not really a choice. You were born, and a certificate just came with it. Like, hey, congratulations, you're here. Here's your certificate for showing up. Like, that's not really much of a choice. But like voting, anything that you engage in by, your own consent, yeah, that's you consenting. Period. Every day you wake up and go to work, you're consenting with this system of slavery. Period. It just is what it is. Just admit that to yourself. If you're not ready to not consent, just understand you're still consenting and you're just not ready to not consent. It's that simple. If you love it, just keep consenting because you love it anyway. But if you don't love it, just understand what you're doing. Do not lie to yourself like you're not giving it your consent. Future is crazy. Shit, it is. Shit, the future is now. Let's see, Black Goo. He went over that real well. Report of a ginormous thing moving through the ocean. I did not see that. What are we talking on today? Well, twisted reality. I think you heard by now. I think you've heard by now. The Denver airport. Yeah, there's a lot of shit going on under there. A lot of shit going on under there. That needs to be burnt to the ground and excavated from the inside out so everyone can see whatever the fuck's happening down there. Anyone find the keys or exit door to this matrix? I haven't. Some people claim to know it, and I'm not even going to argue with them about whether they're right or wrong or not, because there's no fucking point. Like, people are going to believe what they believe, and I'm going to believe what I believe, and then we're going to organize our own solutions and then carry them out. I know Ignorance is Bliss. His Discord is going to be in the comments under this video when I post it on YouTube. If you go over there and talk to him, Bliss will tell you, if you kill yourself here, you'll end up in a void. You go to the edge of that void, away from the light, and once you reach the edge of that void, you will pop into your body in base reality. You can pull off the headset that has us in this reality, and then you can either, I forget what he says. I don't know. I know he says not to look the mantis people in the eyes. I don't know if he wants you to fight them or not. I would suggest killing them if you can. Shit, stab them in the eyes. Just try to do it without looking. But he believes that by doing so, like by doing this process, you will end up back in base reality. Do I believe that personally? No. Am I going to argue with him on that? No. That's his subjective experience, and that's the solution he's come to. And I fully support him taking that path. And I fully support anyone who believes that taking that path. Because what if they're right? I'm not doing that, right? Right? So if I'm wrong, and I convinced them not to do that, and they happen to be right, well, I just fucked myself, didn't I? But if they're wrong and I'm right, and they try to convince me not to do what I'm going to do, and I don't do it, then they just fuck themselves. If we're both right, then we should both be doing it. If we're both wrong, well, we'll find out when we both try our shit and are both wrong. And somebody else will try something else, and they'll be right. We might both get recycled right back here and have to figure it out again. But since somebody else figured out what is right, like, do you understand what I'm saying? You have to try everything as individuals and as groups. Whatever it is you believe is the solution to whatever problem you see as the problem. It's that simple, you know? So as far as I know, nobody's found the keys to the exit door to the matrix, but I don't know everything. Maybe one of these solutions is the key. Check them all out, and then you tell me. You tell me. Don't forget Santa. I don't know what that was about, but I think we were hailing Satan. He said, "Hail Santa." Germany, you can't insult politicians. Go online and insult a politician right now. Yes, you can insult a politician. They will just try to punish you for it. There's no such thing as you can't. Unless if you can't physically do something, okay, you can't. I can't fly up to the sun. I don't have that ability. But I can insult whatever politician I want. Now, whether they send the police to my door or not, that's on them. But you absolutely can insult the politicians. Whether you will or not is up to you. Whether you're willing to take the consequences or not is up to you. I would say insult the fuck out of them, and when they send somebody at you, physically assault them by any means necessary as the highest level of violence you can give them. How dare they try to assault you because you spoke words? Like, I don't care what the words are. Like, I am in a black human body. Yes? Yes. If some guy walks up to me tomorrow and is like, "Fuck you, you dirty nigger," if he's in my physical space, I'm dropping him for the fuck of it. Why not? That's what he wanted, right? I'm gonna give him what he wants. But if somebody over the internet says, "Bro, I don't even care," like, that means nothing to me. Yeah, fuck dirty niggers. I agree with you. Like, because it means fucking nothing. He's not threatening me. He's some dude on the internet somewhere. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if you can't insult a politician or send police at you, bro. If they're really gonna send people at you for something you said on the internet or something, like, bro, bring them all the violence they came for. Give them everything they came to receive. And I guarantee you, if enough people did that in Germany, that law would get reversed. Because if you had 1,000 people right now go, "Oh, we can't insult politicians," fuck you, whatever politician they want to say. And then as soon as they show every door they show up at, people are stabbing them and giving them everything they got. I bet you they reverse that law real quick, and all of a sudden freedom of speech is instated in Germany. But since people won't do that, well, you have the reality you have. Soon they'll put us in prison for talk like that. Not if you make them kill you. They can't put me in prison. They'd have to catch me so slipping. They'd have to catch me so off guard. Like, I'd have to be sleeping or something. Maybe taking a shit. I'm in no position to fight back, literally. To the point where they could just absolutely dominate me physically. Like, I literally can't stop them from taking me. If I am in any, if my pants are up and I'm awake, they're not taking me without killing me. Maybe if they can tase the fuck out of me. Like, but they're gonna have to absolutely incapacitate me to bring me anywhere they want me. You get what I'm saying? They'll put us in prison for talk. If you let them. If you let them. This realm makes me feel extremely uncomfortable sometimes. Good. It should. You shouldn't be comfortable here. You should be very uncomfortable here. Don't get me wrong. You can be comfortable in certain situations. Like, my mother's couch is comfortable. When I lay on it, it's comfortable. When I go to my boy Tyler's, his couch is comfortable. When I lay on it, I'm comfortable. I've had many beds that were comfortable. You know? I have people I'm comfortable with. Shoot, I got somebody I'm in love with. We don't keep that under wraps for now. But that's a fact. It's just true. But does that mean I'm comfortable in this reality? Fuck no. Fuck no. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's little comforts. I'm about to eat some shrimp and fries. Tastes good. I'm gonna eat one of these fries. Not good. That tastes good. It makes my stomach in this avatar meat suit feel a little more comfortable. But am I comfortable with the fact that I even have to eat to make this stomach in this avatar feel comfortable so I can have some energy to run on tomorrow when I do my push-ups and shit? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you should feel uncomfortable here. You absolutely should. I've been saying I want a t-shirt that says Peep the Mythos. Make one. Give it away for free. Sell it. Make one for yourself. I don't care. I don't care. I don't need no copyrights. I don't need no money for that shit. Just spread the phrase. And when people ask what it means, tell them what it means. And if they're interested, send them my playlist called Peep the Mythos. It's right on my channel. Send them the links to the Discords. Send them the links to the live streams. Use it as a recruitment tool. I'm cool with that. New Black Mirror trailer shows a lot of truth, including being surrounded by AI that believes this place is real. And that's why people need to peep the mythos. I'm glad that is right after that. Because that's why people need to peep the mythos. Because when they watch that and then look the fuck around, it should click in where they are, who they are, what they are, when they are, why they are, how they are, what the fuck is going on around them. Check this out. Mark must have said some funny shit. Got people laughing. Thoth keeps rewriting the script. Yeah, Thoth isn't really the one writing the script. I mean, unless you want to call Thoth Metatron or something, you know, Tahuti, Jehuti. Really, he's the scribe. He's not the script writer. He writes down what happens. He's the historian. Thoth, Tahuti, Jehuti. He's the one who copies down everything that's occurred. He's not the one who's writing out what's going to occur. Hermes, Mercury, they don't write down what is going to occur. They write down what happened. Deja vu, Mandela effect stuff going on. Yeah. Consciousness affects simulation. Simulation affects consciousness. It's a battle between the two. Let's try to win. Finally getting dreams back after quitting weed. Need to get into the, bro, I'm telling you, that shit will help you a lot. So when let's say I go to my boy Tyler's, right? We smoke lots of weed. Now, if I can be awake long enough after smoking I can still get into my astral states. I can still get into my dream states. I can still get into my lucid dreaming states, etc. When I say come to my mother's, like here, I'm here this week so I can saw some trees for her. I got some chainsaw coming in the mail because Lowe's and all these other places didn't have the right one. My little brother just had surgery, so if he needs any help at night, because I'm a night owl, my mother is not. She's up at 5 in the morning. I'm in bed at 5 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? We're opposite schedules. So if my little brother needs something, 2 in the morning, I got him. When I'm here, I'm not really smoking weed. I might bring whatever little I have. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't work. I don't sell things. I don't make money. I don't buy weed. If it's available, it's available. If it's not, it's not. So when it's not, my dreams get crazy. Lindy could tell you. We talk about these dreams daily. My dreams get wild and stronger. It actually becomes a little bit harder to become lucid in them because they're so much more visceral. But there's so much more. So I have more opportunity to do so when I'm not smoking weed. But what I will say is this, when it comes to, say, ritual practices, oh my God, it's so much better on weed. And not just weed, there's some other things too, right? Especially them shrooms, and we'll leave it at that. But yeah, I feel you. If you are a pothead of some sort, or just a basic weed smoker, and you want to get into lucid dreaming, just having more dreams in general, if you want to get into the astral, quit weed for a little bit. Take a week off, take a month off, take half a year off. If you find yourself not even craving it, or you don't care, or it's not benefiting you at all, just quit it entirely. It benefits me in my own ways, so I'm never going to quit it entirely, but I have no problem taking breaks. I usually base it upon what's available and what's not. If it's not available, it's time to get really deep into the dream work. If it is available, it's time to get deeper into the ritual that I can do with it. I adjust, I flow with the chaos. All right? One thing I hate about smoking weed, I really dream. Stop smoking. What else we got here? What else we got here? Yeah, his Discord is lit. You damn right it is. Arene or Area Trance, his Discord is lit. Litty lit. He's got all sorts of information in there. And I mean, all sorts of... Now, when you get in there, you're going to realize there's some rules. Because that shit is not for everybody, and everything that's in there is not for everybody. Now, if you're like me, you're going to click everything because I don't give a fuck. I'm a chaos being. I don't mind seeing all of it. Even shit that I don't necessarily care about directly, I don't mind seeing all of it because it's like a glimpse into the mind of whoever's posting it, including Arene himself, or Area Trance. I call him Arene. Including himself, it's a glimpse into his mind when he's sharing certain things, so you know who you're dealing with. And I like crazier, more chaotic people. I don't like reserved, held back people. I want to free people from their reservations. I want to take any limiters you place upon yourself, especially if they're arbitrary. Now, if they're really your limits based on your agenda, by all means, keep those. I get it. Some people shouldn't be doing certain things because it'll cascade them into some other shit they shouldn't be doing. If you used to have a drug problem, maybe you shouldn't smoke weed ever. But if you've never tried weed, I'm the first nigga who will try it with you. You ain't never did no shrooms? You think you can get some now? Let's take them bitches. Don't worry, I got you. I'll watch you. I'll babysit. It's like push the boundaries. Do not limit yourself arbitrarily. You go in that Discord, you're going to understand he does not limit himself. He doesn't have many boundaries. He's a chaos being. Chaos is boundless. So just keep that in mind. But the Discord is absolutely lit. And we all in there. And we all need to be in there. Period. Like, this is how you recruit. You get everybody in one place. Get everyone in one place until you finally reach the point where you have multiple places where people are at, and because people are doing things at that point. When people link together and they go do something, there's another thing or another place to be with them. But it's all got to start somewhere, and that's what I'm using the Discords for. Obviously, Discord is an app, a thing that is in this system, etc. But so is this, so is YouTube, so is everything else we use, right? So use what's available to you to go against those who produced it to begin with. And when they start shutting those things down, well, you've been in them so long, dealing with each other for so long, you should have many different ways of getting in contact with each other until they shut it all down. But by that point, whoever can get in physical contact with each other should already be in physical contact with each other. Whoever should get in astral contact, whoever was already going to commit suicide and go to the other realms or go to the base reality or whatever, they should already be doing these things by the time they start shutting this shit down on you. You know what I'm saying? Because you weren't just in there talking and complaining, you were in there planning on taking action. You get me? That's what this shit is for. So yeah, head to that Discord. It's lit. And the link is, again, at Area Trance's YouTube. It will be on mine as well. It's already in my posts on my community page. I want a sticker for my car. Just need Mark to design it. Yes. Yes, Marcus, when you watch this back, because I know you will. I know you will. Design that. Matter of fact, Lindy, reach out. Tell him what you want. I bet you he'll draw it. Just tell him what you want. You in contact. Let him know. You probably already did. I'm probably already preaching to the choir here. I think the reason why I've been doing so many times with things like New Age is because I've been out here alone. I need to learn from the Discord conversations. Yes, that's what these are for. So people don't have to be alone. Whether it's through the internet, through the astral, whether it's through the physical, like if people can link together, and yes, they can. I know some people believe you can never get two conscious people in the same room. Hypnosis, I know him personally. Where he was going to be in the same room with me today, but I had to sleep. His body needed sleep because I'm constantly abusing it and not letting it sleep. I keep this thing up for days at a time sometimes. Just because. Like, why not? Oh, you want to sleep? Fuck your sleep. I run you. You don't run me. You don't tell me. You don't tell me when to sit down or lay down. Like right now, because I've been standing this entire time walking back and forth to straighten. My legs are killing me. But you know what? I'm going to start standing on my tippy toes now and cause them more pain. They will be stronger for it in the end. The legs don't tell me what to do. I tell the legs what to do. Do you get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying. Nobody needs to be alone in this reality. Period. Period. If you're in some other country and there's like nobody around you, who's closest to you? In what country? If you're in Africa somewhere, there's multiple people in Africa. You know, if you are a Benedictine and you want to go meet Dead MF or Bliss, send an email. You know, like if you are Mark Antinatalist and you want to meet Shanghai Yel Thunder, send an email, get a phone number, and then we plan. And plans are in the works. We'll talk about that when the time comes. If you're Shanghai Yel Thunder and you want to meet Aaron A, you plan. If you're Triple Lindy and you want to meet Shanghai Yel, and Shanghai Yel wants to meet you, you plan. And then you take action. Do you get what I'm saying? Y'all get what I'm saying? Don't deny it. Like, and guess what? Let's say the Matrix is going to stop you from getting in the same room. Well, one of us is going to crash on the way to the other. Like, you know, or one of us is going to die before the other one gets there. Well, guess what? Then it just sent us to the next realm to go do war against it that way. Do not allow the Matrix telling you you can't be together to stop you from coming together. Make it force you. If you're in China and there's people in America you want to go meet because they're conscious like you, and the Matrix doesn't want you to go meet them, make it take your plane out of the sky. But get the damn plane ticket. And when the car breaks down and when all these things line up to try to stop you from getting, you overcome all of them and you keep replanning and you keep pushing the system in that direction until it either has to kill you or those you're going to see. Or you become successful and you get there. It's only two options. Try it and see if it works or doesn't work. There's only two things that could happen. It'll work out or it fucking won't. But do not make the decision for the Matrix to limit yourself to what it wants you to do. Well, the Matrix doesn't want us to come together, so I'm not even going to try. Fuck the Matrix. Do exactly what it doesn't want you to do. He doesn't want us to come together. Then you should be trying to get the biggest group of motherfuckers together possible. You get what I'm saying? I know you get it. Whether you agree with it or not, I know you get it. There's no logical argument against it. Like, don't be the Matrix's bitch. Don't work for the Matrix. Make it force things upon you that it doesn't want you to do. And even when it does that, you fight it anyway. I just remember working with the Cliff Off, drug addiction, crazy evil people, one of which was a literal energy vampire. People trying to blackmail me. The adversaries are endless in the Cliff Off. Of course, because the Cliff Off exposes you to the adversary. It shows you who they actually are. A lot of motherfuckers that you think are your friends are not your friends. And then some of them can still be your friends. Like my boy Tyler, I bring him up a lot because I'm at his crib a lot. He's a fucking energy vampire and he fucking knows it. And he knows it. But guess what? I'm fine with that. Completely fine with that. See, I don't mind energy vampires if I know they're energy vampires. Because energy vampires are still useful people. And they're still training lessons. Can you maintain your frame amongst them? Can you maintain your energy? When they trigger you, realize they triggered you and go, I see what you did there. Good job. Good job. Great test. High five. Like, you earned that energy. Try it again tomorrow. Let's see if I succeed. Stop being so afraid of these things, like, and engage with them directly and be like, I wonder if I can hold my frame in this situation. Don't be afraid of the police. Hold your frame. Fuck you, cop. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid of the enemy, the angels, the archons. When they try to siphon you, eat them instead. Or just hold your frame. You understand what I'm saying? So my boy, he's an energy vampire. So what do I request? I request Lilith be on the screen of his TV. He even put it on his phone. At least if you're going to siphon my energy, send some to your mother, vampire. Because that's my wife and I'm in love with her. So at least take some of that energy and feed it to the vampire queen. You give us, make it work. Like, because guess what? You're in a world full of this shit. You're in a world full of this shit. Like, this world is an energy vampire. This reality is an energy vampire. Guess what? So are you. Whether you realize it or not, you feed on energy too. That's why you're in the fucking chat. That's why you post comments. That's why you watch these videos, because they energize you. I'm feeding you right now, and I'm doing it willingly. Feast. Anytime you give out information, you're feeding someone. Anytime you're receiving information, you're feeding. Anytime you're giving off emotions, you're feeding someone. Anytime you're receiving emotions, you're being fed. Everything in reality is an energy exchange. Everything in existence is an energy exchange. Understand that and be the energy vampire, and be it in the manner in which you seek to be it. Or in the manner in which you naturally are. Because if you have a certain nature, at whatever level, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, conscious, subconscious, unconscious, etc., don't deny your nature, but don't lie about it and don't hide it either. Just be you and be open about that. And that's why I fuck with my boy Tyler. As much as some people don't like him because they're like, that nigga's too, he's too much. He's too gaslighty. He's too much of an energy vampire. Da, 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 da. I'm like, and that's why I love the nigga. That's literally why I fuck with him. For the same reason people don't. Because I'm a chaos being and I flow with the chaos. I understand that that's this reality. Everything's an energy vampire. You better learn from these motherfuckers. You better learn from these motherfuckers. First, how to contain your own energy, how to maintain your frame, and then how to feed. Simple shit. Stop being afraid of everything. Don't be scared of it. You know? Get to it. That's right. Oh, it's the cat's name in the Smurfs. I haven't watched the Smurfs, so I don't know enough about it to talk about the Mythos, but if that's the name of the cat, shit, go watch the Smurfs and watch that cat. I bet you he's on some shit. How about that? We are all God experienced subjectively. The only thing you need is love. And that's what makes me laugh. We are all God experienced subjectively. The only thing you need is love. Whoa, whoa. Don't tell me the only thing I need. If you're going to tell me the fact that we are all God experiencing subjectively, cool. That means I can come up with my own subjective thing that I need. Don't tell me I need love. I might need rage. You might need love. And you can even have both. I might need love from and / or with certain individuals or other subjective entities within this reality, but I might need rage with other ones. You get what I'm saying? So I feel you. Yeah. Those friends, just stop them at that last part. Just stop them at that last part. I think everyone should deny the body everything at least once or twice a week. Facts. I was just talking about this with sleep and pain. Like, my feet hurt right now, and I'm still standing on my tippy toes. Like, like, just because. Start doing some fucking leg lifts right now. Look at me, just start doing some calf raises. Just, I agree. I completely agree. Walked out of my job a couple weeks ago. It felt amazing. I bet it fucking did, big dog. And that was a choice you made. Now realize that's going to come with some consequences, because you're in a system that tries to force you to live off of currency, which is almost entirely gained through working for most peasants out here. You know, unless you were born wealthy or you got some checks coming in or something, generally speaking, if you want fiat currency, you're going to have to go work for it in some form or fashion, or invest or something. You have to find some way to gather fiat currency. So understand that that's going to come with some consequences, but I'm pretty sure you knew that before you did it. So stay strong, no matter what comes. Stay the fuck strong and do not let them force you into anything. Now, if you just didn't like that job, go find one that you like, or that you can at least deal with, or whatever. If you don't want to work, period, don't do it. And I promise you, one way or the other, everything's going to line up for you. And that doesn't mean you're going to be well taken care of here on Earth. You might need to die. It could be anywhere from everything lines up for you here, and you find yourself in a much better situation with certain things that are, you know, because for me, ever since I quit, I've been more comfortable than I have in my entire life. Not because I have my own place or anything along these lines, because of course that's a physically comfortable thing to have your own spot, but because I don't have to do anything that I don't want to do. I don't got to wake up and go anywhere I don't want to go. I don't got to talk to or deal with anyone I don't want to deal with. I will take the consequence of not having an apartment or a car for the benefit of not being a fucking slave to the system. What consequences will you take for the benefits you seek? You see what I'm saying? So good on you, Adam. Good on you. Santa was in regard of systems of control. Yes. Yes, that's all, you know, that's all those holidays are. Holidays, birthdays, and I get it. Some of us have kids. Some of us made that mistake. These things happen. No one's perfect. Some of us didn't. And good for you. Especially if you're young, you might, because I'm telling you, I was young. I was 19. Like, I'm never going to have a kid. A few months later, someone was pregnant. So trust me when I say, just because you ain't got one now doesn't mean you won't fuck that up in the future. Do your damnedest not to. Do your damnedest not to. And if you do, raise that motherfucker the best you can to see this shit and understand this shit. Bare minimum, plant seeds, because a lot of kids can't see shit too young. Even when you're being direct with them, it just doesn't, because they're in a whole world, you know? Try to tell your kid about the monetary system, blah, blah, blah. He's like, but I want to play that video game, Dad. All my friends is playing it. You get what I'm saying? But plant the seeds and then be the example. You know what I'm saying? See, with my kid, for the first few years that we did do Christmas, there was no Santa. There was me, nigga. You know, Santa doing this shit. I never lied to him. I told him exactly what Christmas was. And I told I'm only doing this shit because I know you want things and I know all your friends are going to have things and I don't want you growing up fucking traumatized. Like my dad hated me, never bought me anything. But by the time he hit like 5, 6 years old, maybe 7, I was like, all right, you are old enough to understand this because you're having the conversation with me. I'm not doing this shit no more. Your mother might still do this shit. I'm not doing it. Birthdays ain't real. Holidays ain't real. None of that shit's real. It's all control structures to get you to behave in a manner that works best for them economically, through capitalism and whatnot. So tell them the truth. Even if you're going to do it, still tell them the truth about it. If you're not going to do it, that's even more reason to tell them the truth about it. Ben and the BG on a walk. Okay, I see you be in the background. I'll see you in there. Direct people, or if you can, post the Discord in the chat for me, Aaron A. Read manuals, play realistic flight sim, and steal the plane. Yes, exactly. Train for whatever it is you think you need to do on any level of reality in any way that you can, and get to doing it. Period. It's that simple. Most of this stuff is very, very easy to figure out. Super easy to figure out. Yes, mother, I will remember to turn on the water in the basement. It's not hard at all. People make it harder than it is because the truth is they don't want to do things. The truth is they don't want to give up anything. They don't want to sacrifice anything. They don't want to risk anything. So they don't want to stop doing things. But they also don't want to do anything different either. Now, for those who don't see any of this as a problem, that's perfectly fine. That's the world they live in. But for you watching this right now, you know that it's a problem to you. So what are you doing? And what are you not doing? If you've yet to stop doing anything you know you shouldn't be doing, what are you going to stop doing today, tomorrow, next week, next month? What are you going to start doing today, tomorrow, next week, next month? Think about it. Let it settle in. Don't sit around thinking, well, I'm just going to complain about it and keep doing it. I'm going to complain about being a slave, but I'm going to work tomorrow. Then don't complain about being a slave. You're making a choice. Don't complain about a system you choose to operate within. Complain about a system you choose not to operate within. Like, if you vote, for example, you can't really be mad about anything that happens in your system. Even if the guy you voted for didn't win and the guy you voted against won, you're still in support of the system that guy won in. So you can't now be against that because you all took part in that game and you lost. Don't be a sore loser. If you won, don't be a sore winner either. But I mean, if you want to, you can be if you want to. But understand that you're all engaged in the same system, no matter which side of that one you lean on. So don't complain about it. You don't complain about that which you choose to engage in. It is what it is. You run the risk of having the other guy win if you're willing to have the system of voting. If you're unwilling to have the system of voting, you can complain about the entire thing, let alone the individuals who win or lose. You get what I'm saying? All right, that's the last comment. So I think I'm going to head off here. I'm hungry myself. I'm going to feed this meat suit. I think my mommy wants to spend some time with me. Oh, why didn't you go back upstairs? So y'all at least attempt to enjoy the rest of your nights. And check out the Discords. I'm out of here.